keep your eye on the logic like that. Like you might just need flippers and go through Meridia just to get into Dark World your first time, and we're off and going.
All right, so today we have four restreamed runners from top left to bottom right: Simnala, Pre-R57, Lenophis, and Azure. You can see that they start out at the ship in Criteria. They will most likely head down to the portal we mentioned to link to the past here, but there is a possibility of visiting more Super Metroid, and it looks like they're putting that off.
Yeah, because right at the start, the most of their screw attack on Lake Island. Anyway, it's because most of their progression is gonna be in Link to Past. Most of the time, most of them don't even meta and try to go to Blueprint to the more vanilla Morphle spot because it's only two spots. They can check there. It's not really worth it.
All right, so we've got the key for the escape sequence inside the sanctuary. There are actually a number of total treasure chests, 8, I think, between the sanctuary and all parts of the Hyrule Castle that are connected and have the treasures shuffled. So there's a lot of funny ways that the key map and everything else can be distributed there.
And the logic writers have made a point of making sure that you won't get soft locked. That's one of the big things about the logic is to prevent soft locks, and that they've made a point of making sure that they realize, oh, what's the worst way a runner can use this key, and with the key that early, it's not going to be a problem in Hyrule Castle.
Indeed. So we saw 300 rupees there at the lumberjack item. That's accessible after you've defeated Aghanim and you have the Pegasus boots. However, I do not believe anyone will beat Aghanim just to get 300 rupees.
Yeah, they're more likely to do the Chris Houlihan room play, which we'll discuss later on if somebody bothers to get it. Ooh, Moon Pearl in the mushroom spot in Lost Wood.
Love to see an early Moon Pearl. Of course, that combines with a few other items to give us Dark World access, but the particular way that they'll get in is yet to be determined. It could be with the Titan's Mitts, it could be through Aghanim itself, or it could be with the hammer.
Or it could be through Super Metroid, as we discussed earlier.
So a lot of our runners who went the north route through the forest and into Kakariko got pretty lucky bomb pulls from the trees, so they won't have to buy bombs to start out in the village, and they can just immediately get to their checks.
Yes, bombs are very important in the early game because there are a lot of bomb walls in Kakariko and in Hyrule Castle area and the South Shore, South like World Shore, uh, with that need to be used, that need to be blown up. Oh, we got a hook shot, 300 rupees, energy tank.
Hookshot is a great item to have early. Not only does it act as a weapon or a stun, depending on which class of enemy you're fighting, but it also can open up East Death Mountain even earlier than in Link to the Past Randomizer if you happen to get Death Mountain access through Super Metroid.
Indeed, there are a ton of chests there that they can get items from. Let's see what we have in the CAC well. So red rupee, another red rupee. Ooh, the hammer. That's 2/3 of the way through for Dark World access and some missiles.
Yeah, when you see Hammer and Moon Pearl this early, it's very, very unlikely that the first set of gloves, are too far off, just because that combination is so often the early Dark World access. But who knows? It could still be a funny Dark World.
Yes, it can be very trolly, like you find your mitts in, oh, say Hera or something. But we do get our first sword too. I was about to say that hammer is also a very good melee weapon despite its hitbox, but hey, we got the sword too.
Yep, we won't be seeing a swordless run today, like the tournament match between Ozzy and Andy the other day that had no swords for the first hour and a half and then a go mode master sword.
Oh yes, I watched that one. Just seeing Andy just like scramble at the end to find the second sword was just hilarious. So boots still not technically required yet because the library item was just 20 rupees, so they're not gonna go for that. And race game is only 50 rupees. I Well, with Lenolphus just doing the blind run, I would see him go and get it just because they're gonna probably head up to Zora pretty soon, but maybe not yet.
Yeah, with that pile of rupees they're all sitting on, a little extra gets you close to Zora, and it's just early enough that pretty much all rupees above 5 are worth getting. In addition to Bottle Vendor, which was 100, and then Zora, which is 500. The runners also want to save up money for some early Dark World checks, such as the Treasure Game, the Digging Game, and maybe Palace of Darkness.
So I think it was Diggy Game or one of the Diggy Game or chess game was 80 rupees, I believe. And there's
Yeah, Digging is
110.
80.
And Kiki the monkey, our favorite extortionist monkey, uh, is 110 or something like that.
So it looks like Ashdur is making our first play into the Hyrule Castle escape sequence, while Prior is setting up a Houlihan, it looks like.
And the Novice gets her first power bomb in the game. And looks like we don't need Chris Houlihan room because Azure found another 300 in Hyrule Castle.
Yeah, that's a ton of cash. Starting out with this much is probably enough to sustain you for the rest of the run without farming. Leno putting that hookshot to good use to make quick work of the mini Moldorm cave.
So you got 2 heart pieces, a lamp, so no dark rooms today, 10 bomb upgrade, and a 20 rupee. So I give that about, I'd say 5 or 6 out of 10.
Yeah, lamp is better the earlier you find it, because if you find it really late, you might already have done a lot of the dark rooms, depending on your comfort level with those.
Yeah, because by the logic, by the link to past logic, you will never ever have to do dark rooms. But so this is a good find. The only problem with finding it this early is the Aga play becomes on the table. I don't think any of these guys really want to do the Aga play.
Lenifus appears to be fake flippering over to the location under the bridge to check out what our favorite camper has today.
And I think Ashter found all the items in Hyrule Castle because he's not going after the Dark Cross chest, which probably means it's the map.
Well, we don't know what's in the very back yet, but the map is probably back there, meaning that it's not as high value to go check immediately.
Oh yeah, that is true. We didn't check the back of escape, but front of escape was purely items.
Leno continuing the fake flipper, and thanks to Moon Pearl, is actually going to be able to do an early sequence break of the waterfall cave.
Yes, this secret break can only happen if you have the Moon Pearl because for some reason the game checks if you have the Moon Pearl when going into a cave when you have flippers and just causes this water walking glitch that you see here. And remember I was talking about that Aga play? We just found the other part to it.
Oh boy.
mind you, it's out of sequence, but they did. Lenofist did find a cape in Waterfall Cave, so yeah, that's you need the lamp, the Master Sword, and/or cape to get to finish Aga 1. But these runners don't want to do that. Oh, we got a map check. It's 1 and 2 crystals for Eastern and Desert, and red blue pendant at Hera.
So it looks like a lot of our runners are doing the fake flipper play because of the money that they got making Zora so appealing, in addition to the waterfall cave we were just talking about. Fake flipper is a trick that's only available in the Japanese 1.0 version of this, which the ROM is based off of. And it's actually fairly easy to set up simply by going to the spot where Zanala is right now, moving to the edge of the screen and transitioning right when you fall down into the water.
Yeah, the only tricky part to that is the positioning, but there are ways you can do that if you have a bit of health. You can use a bomb to set yourself up, because you won't screen transition when you're from one screen to another when you're damaged.
Yeah, the damage the damage taking hard lock element of the fake flipper is pretty scary, especially if you go up to Zora's domain where you're going to be getting shot at constantly. Unless I'm explicitly trying to double fake flipper, which I might explain a bit later, I'll usually jump back on land to make sure I'm safe from the hard lock while I'm traveling to Zora.
And Zimnala found a really good item on the hobo. He had the magic powder.
Nice, yeah. Powder and hammer, of course, out of sequence as we still don't have flippers, but that does open up the magic bat.
So I'm not sure the other runners, well, Priya and Azure did that. Check the hobo. I think they went straight to the Zora's domain area.
Yeah, when you are going only via fake flipper back from was it silvers on Zora? I can't tell.
Yeah, that was the Argentum arrows. This wasn't a scamfish today, guys. We got something of value.
Yeah, it's definitely worth its weight in silver. As I was noting about the fake flipper trick and so forth, when you're coming out of the under the bridge location and you're trying to set up a fake flipper to get back out, it's all really easy to hard lock yourself if you don't jump down at the right position. So that's a trick I usually avoid.
Yeah, I've seen a clip of that. It wasn't pretty. Luckily, the runner was able to save and quit out, but yeah, that wasn't very pretty at all.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you get into a certain bad hard lock situation with fake flipper, you might lose the opportunity to save and quit, and then you could lose progress and have to redo portions of your early game. Probably the biggest risk of the early fake flipper.
Indeed. So looks like both Leno and Azure are going to the back of Escape. Surprised you're not going for Eastern just yet, but I guess they just want to get this out over with.
Well, because we started with a key and then the lamp was found, that actually puts, 3 more treasures in logic, so this could actually be our progression.
This is true. This is flip. Well, there goes the fake flipper idea because there's flippers right there at Dark Cross.
But that's hilarious because that immediately puts the cape we were just talking about in logic, so now we actually do have to think about Aghanim.
I'm fully expecting them to check Eastern's the Sahasrara Eastern and Agina first before they even think about going to Aga.
For sure. Yeah, that hammer is ominous, right? Like we were talking about at the beginning, like the Dark World access could troll us. So we're seeing the pieces of that, but not confirmed yet.
So it looks like Azur's doing a death warp while Leno's doing a saving quit. I wonder which way is the faster way to get to Eastern. Oh wait, Azur never did the back of escape, so this is why. Okay, I mean the front of escape, excuse me. Or no, is he going to Aga? He's going to Aga right now. What's
Yeah,
going on?
so you have to, in seeds where it's Aghanim, you sometimes spend a ton of time getting down almost to the last location available in the two games early, and you end up wasting a lot of time when you're like, shoot, I should have just gone to Aga. But it is a gamble either way.
Let's see which one was the good gamble since Lenofis is at Sahasra, and looks like Swamp is our green pendant for today. And we got Ice Ride and E-Tank in Sahasrala's closet. That's very good to find early. But you know what they say about early Ice Rod? TR is a pendant, probably.
Yeah. So one thing to note about this Aga play is while it will take 5 total minutes or some such to get up through it and beat Aghanim, because they have that hammer, a ton of the Dark World is open. A hammer and flippers, a ton of the Dark World is open. Just making this play. So it's not like some of those seeds where you beat Aghanim and all you can do is like Pyramid Ledge and Quakefish.
Yes, indeed. Because yeah, you just need really hammer to open it up. It's just a little bit long-winded to get around the Dark World, but hey, if this is the troll that this sea's gonna pull off, well, let's see.
We're getting our Eastern Palace checks from Lenofist, so I'm going to get a little bit more information about that Aghanim requirement.
Super missiles to start. Speaking of, we haven't really seen any Super Metroid progression. Like, no items so far, just ammo.
That's totally right. Word spoken in chat says they've often saved and quit in the Dark World, and because they had Aga, they had to do it all over again because it'll send you back to the pyramid when you're trying to get somewhere else, and that happens to me a lot too.
Well, specifically, that only happens if you have the mirror. That's the thing.
Oh, I thought it was like if you saved and quit from in a Dark World dungeon versus the overworld or something.
No, the combination is that if you have the mirror and you beat Aghanim, then when you save and quit in the Dark World, you get sent to the pyramid.
Oh, I had no idea. Okay, well, thanks for telling me.
You're very welcome. So here we go. Everybody chat. Guess how many blue balls Azur's going to deal with against his Aga.
It's a 50-50 chance whether Aga 1 will throw a ball you can reflect or the blue balls that break out in a hexagonal pattern.
Except for the start of a 5 spot pattern, and there's a blue ball right there. Because that will always be a regular ball.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So yeah, after the lightning, this is going to be a regular ball, and then the next 3 will either be a regular ball or a blue ball. Speaking of, we so far had 2. Now 3, which is statistically the usual 3.
I think we're about to see that Asher made the right call. Unless the glove is at Agina or down in Retro Bryn, I think we're out of Sphere 1 checks for the runners.
And looks like we had 3, the statistically correct 3 blue balls for Aghanim.
Yep, check.
So Pod and Skull are red crystals, and our blue pendant is ice. So mirror and flippers not necessarily required this seed. Ooh, we got our first.
That is hilarious progression. Go ahead.
Yes, that's our first Super Metroid progression in the Speed Booster. which can actually allow the runners to break a few walls and get us to green and pink Brinstar.
Solo Speed Booster is one of the most feels bad things to chase into Super Metroid. If you if you don't have Morph Ball yet, you have to go down, like, you locked out of some of the checks, so you kind of get this mishmash of green and pink Brinstar, but if it's no good, you have to reset, and you kind of got to go check blue Brin too, and it's just like, it feels really bad when it's actually not how you were supposed to progress, but you wasted all that time.
But that's them gambles, especially in the big races. So let's see what bumper ledge has for us. It's just a piece of heart. So cape was not required for that.
So I'm loving this early Aga call from Azure. I liked it before we saw the speed booster as payoff, but it seems like they've jumped out to an early lead. Given that hookshot flippers, etc., they can just do so much Dark World.
Yeah, the only checks that Lenofus really has right now, well, he's gonna get his silvers right now, but and the other runners, they have Magic Bat and Agina left after this Eastern and Zora check.
Yeah, I'm actually small. No, I'm not too surprised. Agina is kind of the flavor of the month check to make after people have seen it be sort of a trolley thing in tournaments.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that just gnaws on your mind. Should I go for it? Should I not go for it? It's just really hard to route in as well, especially without the flute.
Absolutely. As your death warping out of the like hellish room in Skullwoods.
I don't think he really found anything in Skullwood, so he's probably gonna hit up Village of Outcasts.
I think he's got. Yeah, I was gonna say he has more checks to go. When you dip without Fire Rod, it's best to go and steal the key first, so that you can skip potentially having to go through the bumper room.
Yeah, because that bumper room will always have a key, but it's also not a fun place to go to.
And just one check left to the right.
Space jump on Desert Less, that's funny. Lenonolphus is checking Magic back. We got Prior checking Agina.
Ooh, Azure made the right call because there's nothing at Agina.
But wait, let's see what Lenonolphus gets, and it's also 10 arrows.
Oh, right, that was our last in logic check because the powder came back in after we got flippers. That's right.
Oh yeah, Azure made the perfect opening play. He made that gamble, just went for it.
I love it. Yeah, that's something that veteran runners, like, when they've seen a certain percentage of the initial part of the game, they know when to pull the trigger on the Aghanim play.
So starting with Village of Outcast Sea House, there wasn't much there. Let's see what the brewery has.
So the go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say the space jump that we see in Desert could be accessed with as little as just the Book of Medora, or as much as needing the mitts and the flute, in addition to our existing Dark World access, and the mirror then to mirror into Desert. So honestly, given all that, I still think the latter is more likely.
And we got a spring ball. Oh wait, that's copyrighted by Wild Anaconda. Never mind.
Spring Ball.
Anyway, yeah, spring ball at the chess game, and we actually did forget one other thing they could do to get to that space jump, but that requires mirror, but also requires various suits, gravity suit, and some craziness.
But space jump is required in logic for normal to get through the lava dive, so you wouldn't actually be able to reach the space jump without it.
Oh yeah, there is that. Never mind then.
Funny thing to note about Spring Ball, while it is on our tracker, which has a limited set of things that are displayed, mostly so we can show progression and not as many of the minor items, is that Spring Ball only has one logical feature in normal mode, and that's actually going away with the next version.
And what is that logical progression?
That's doing a horizontal spring ball jump over the moat to get into wreck ship. It was deemed basically too similar to mockballing, and so it's moved into hard only logic as of the next version that will be released soonish.
Yeah, fair enough. That doesn't seem like a normal skill you would use in Prior takes a death at the first room of Aga Tower. And the novice is checking Blue Bryn, finding 3 bombs first. They better hope the ceiling item's worth.
Yeah, we had two runners who just did not want to go to Aghanim, clearly.
Oh boy, that's just half magic in the ceiling. Azure definitely made the right play.
Nice damage boost, though, by Zimnala to grab that and head back.
But they save and quit, realizing this is going to take too much time, and half magic isn't really progression. They can get it later.
Totally, yeah. And they'll have that speed booster probably the first time that they go to Blue Bryn, so it'll be even easier to get.
Meanwhile, it doesn't seem like a blind stole anything worth, if you call the single arrow worth, because Azure's not finding really anything.
Yeah, unfortunately, one of the goals of this game is not to defeat Dracula, is not in either of the two games, so we do not need the vampire killer.
But the vampire killer's a whip, not an arrow.
Oh, but don't you like need a wooden stake or something to like finish him off?
Only in Castlevania 2.
Oh, Castlevania 2 gives me horrid memories. Great music, not so great everything else.
Indeed.
Ashter making solid work of Thieves Town. It's no joke going through here on low gear, green mail, few hearts, and either the fighter sword that doesn't do much damage, or the hammer where you've got to use the funny hitbox and try to avoid taking 2 hearts per hit from these enemies.
Indeed, and looks like because of the lack of gloves, Azure had to do the long way around to get to the maiden.
Oh yeah, that's a mistake I will usually make. In fact, I've come through Thieves Town without gloves and thought that I was locked out because I just forgot that I could go left from that point.
Yeah, it's very easy to forget because that's not how you do it in the vanilla game. So Nala getting a little trolled by these blue guards. They're not playing nice.
Hopefully, Zamala takes out the hook shot to get an edge. There we go.
So let's see what our blind pun is today. Meyer requires ether, quake, or bombos. Wah wah.
Ashter taking advantage of the fact that blind initially starts on a script in order to do the fight in a predictable way and avoid taking too much damage.
Just went a little bit off script, but that was fine. He takes the big blind down, and power bombs left by him. No progression there in Thieves Zone, just the crystal.
And Pryor has finished off Aghanim and will be our second restreamed runner to enter the Dark World and find Speed Booster.
My question for Prier, will he do the exact same thing that Azure did and go to the north Dark World, or will he go straight to Pod or Catfish?
Yeah, or just right into Hype Cave. There's you could take that to a south loop around, but I think given the item set available, you'd rather go some way that's not a one-way trip. So who knows?
Now looks like Prier is going to Hype Cave.
Good idea. Honestly, a lot of item checks, even if it means you have to like kind of double back. Oh wait, no, what's this route? Oh, that's the Hype Cave. Okay, I was like, why didn't they go down? I just forgot which screen they were on.
Meanwhile, Azure dug up a Quake medallion. We'll see if that's needed for Myron Turtle Rock later. Also, get your hypes in chat. Let's see what we got here in Hype Cave. We got a heart container, and then heart piece, and then super missiles, and an E-tank. I call that, just because it has super Metroid ammo, I just call that a 1.
Yeah, I mean, the heart container is welcome when you're in the Dark World this early, but I don't know, 2 out of 10.
So, now that being hindsight what it is, I really like Asher's routing, because now, after he does Hype Cave, he can go straight to Pod.
Looks like Lenofis took a death climbing Aga Tower.
Ooh, that's not good.
Our first bottle is at Stumpy. It's a B of some kind. I'm not sure if it's the good or regular B, but that could mean a check back on Sick Kid.
And maybe get some money from the bottle vendor if you really feel like it.
So depending on whether Palace of Darkness is bow locked, we could see as few as 1 check or as many as with the lamp, like 4 or maybe all 5 treasures. I'm not sure if there are enough chests given all the keys you have to find as well.
Well, if I were Asder, I probably would have got rid of that B and fill it up with a red potion just to do the potion glitch if it's necessary. But he might not have enough money for it.
Yeah, right. You have to spend all this money to get into Pod. What I was going to ask is, I know there are some shops in the Dark World and like weird locations that nobody ever goes to, but there is a way to get a red potion here without going back to the Light World, right?
Actually, well, there is a shop just southwest of Pod, and there's a shop in the dark Lake Hylia, but it's not very close. Also, there is the possibility of having to see what the waterfall fairy has, but that's like. And as Duder K RKO is saying in chat, there is also that new mimic glitch that's shown up recently.
Yeah, Ozzy101, who is, I believe, racing in this race, but it's not on stream, discovered a really sweet bow skip for the mimics in Ganon's Tower, which can also be used in Palace of Darkness, and could actually mean you could finish the game without the bow if Pod and Eastern are both pendants.
Oh, it's not usable on the Igors?
I'm not entirely sure. By the way, with those first 2 keys that we see, I'm pretty sure that means you can get to the back of Pod without the bow.
Alright, reminding me that Igors can't be manipulated like the mimics, so never mind.
So, fun fact, in the current version of the combo randomizer, Palace of Darkness is actually item for item the most likely location in the entire game to have progressive items. That's due to logic that did come over through a port from the Link to the Past solo randomizer, which as of V29 started weighing dungeons more heavily for progression. And in addition to that, dungeons with a lot of keys tend to fill the remaining slots with more progressive items than others, and Palace of Darkness has the most keys.
Yeah, there's a reason why I called Dark Palace the dungeon with no bats but way too many keys. I'll see myself out.
And the reason that I bring up that change is not only does that affect your decision making in this current version about what you'll prioritize, it also is changing in the next version, again, to be released TBD, in that the weighting for dungeons will be removed and overworld locations and dungeon locations will become more equal to give weight back to Super Metroid, such as places like Wreck Ship.
To be fair, Wreck Ship has had a fair bit of progression. I mean, the last race that they had, I think, there was gravity suits in the energy tank location. And unfortunately, one of the runners skipped that and got busted pretty badly.
Yeah, for sure. Like, Brick Ship is just in a sort of a feels bad spot in the meta right now because most runners know that it is less likely, so you'll just put it off in most games. But it being a randomizer, that's not going to happen every time.
Ooh, we finally got our Super Metroid progression. That was Morph Ball and the Dark Maze.
That's absolutely huge. Really good read from Azure on that. Not just chasing the speed booster into Super Metroid, but going to a place with really good odds and found the Morph Ball and is immediately resetting.
He has a pretty healthy count. He has 25 missiles, 35 super missiles, 10 power bombs. Just a little bit short to do not shine spark, crystal flash if he needs, well, if he chooses to do hell runs, but
Duder KO in chat pointing out that the big key is not accessible because it's on the right side.
yeah, that's kind of nasty for these runners. Especially if like there might be progression at I'm trying to think maybe at the big chest, and then they have to go out of their way to get it.
Yeah, it really screws up since it's now a logical double dip. Since it's a crystal today, that means they'll have to go back and potentially screw up their go mode route. I mean, if they're not in go mode yet.
As they're having a few goop sparks trying to get to Wreck Ship, he'll get it eventually.
Ooh, gets a blue mail on the way across.
That's a nice find. It'll mitigate some of the damage from the Dark World enemies.
So Asher's making a pretty solid read here. Wreck Ship, as we were talking about, there's all the funny business with the logic there, but it does tend to be more progressive the later it opens up in the seed. So with Morph Ball coming all the way in Palace of Darkness at 40 minutes, you've potentially got a better Wreck Ship than usual.
Yeah, hopefully this is the... I'm not sure about Azure routing it this way personally, because it just seems weird to do an early Wreck Ship. Then again, that's new route for you.
Yeah, I mean, Ashter is so good at this game, not to inflate their ego too much, but they'd probably be able to do Fantune on like one E tank.
So I'm just curious about his routing afterwards, but let's just keep it to the present.
So Leno went to Palace of Darkness earlier than some of the other runners who are in the Dark World besides Ashter, and might be able to catch up a little bit by getting this Morph Ball and just resetting out instead of checking the rest of the Dark World without gloves, mirror, yada yada, and all that stuff that makes you double dip the west side.
Indeed, the Azure's routing and like I think Zimnala also following suit the same with Azure. Their routing's still pretty good through that Dark World going uh, north first, but it is still a pain.
Mind of me pointing out in chat, the combination of Morph Ball and Speed Booster early in Super Metroid feels really good because you get to make basically just one trip through all of Brinstar and not leave any locations behind.
Yes, because there is one spot that is, of all there are three spots that are speed booster locked. Only one of them you cannot take a look into, and we got our second bust out with Phantom dead at 40 minutes in.
Nice fight, finishing on 53 energies. That was a hit and a half away from dying.
Well, you did say that he could beat it in one E tank, so
So without much in the way of other offense, but fortunately with a lot of super missiles, Ashter's got a decent setup to get through the rest of Wrecked Ship. Doesn't have great mobility. The Spring Ball is available to actually do the moat. I'm pretty sure that would be out of sequence. No, wait, Speed Booster puts it in logic, right? The Sponge Bath. I think Speed Booster and just running and jumping against the wall is in normal logic, but it might be hard.
I believe that's allowed. That a sponge bath is before spiky room of death, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that's allowed.
The alternative ways with this loadout would be to either spring ball jump or do a power bomb jump out of the water, and both of those are much harder. Not anything that Ashter couldn't do, of course.
Of course. And because of his Angie loadout, he's going to take the safety save. I don't blame him for that. He normally just goes straight for it, but without Grav Suit, for one thing, it's not going to be an easy task.
And blind is down for Pre. Very good. Finishes with 3 hearts remaining.
Okay, Lenova's got his Morph Ball going to Super Metroid right now. Probably gonna do the blue Brinstar checks. Zimnala should have went into pod, but decided to save and quit. That's not gonna be a good idea.
Ooh, that was really pretty. So while normally you would just kind of use your running start to jump towards the far wall and then wall jump out of the sponge bath, Azure did a short charge to get a shine spark underwater and then used that to get out of the water.
Yeah, that was pretty new. I've never seen it used that way. And just 20 rupees in the energy tank area. Womp womp.
And Zimnala took that bottle all the way back to Sick Kid, but was only rewarded with 5 missiles. Ooh, so do you think they're picking up that red potion for Palace of Darkness or just for a little Dark World safety?
Maybe a little bit of both. And I just saw in the restream that Lenophis actually at Bomb Terizo found the Master Sword.
Oh, sweet. That's right. Lenophis is actually going the more traditional way of Brinstar loop first, starting up in Criteria.
Also, because of this new rando thing of the breakable box at the back of Gauntlet, gonna check that. Only big 20 and heart container, so he's not gonna bother with gauntlets for the backside.
Indeed. So for now, we are going to get simultaneous new Super Metroid checks and content with Asjir clearing out the top of Wrecked Ship and Leno giving us our first look at Brinstar.
So the attic looks like there was nothing there. And Azur's gonna have a little trouble checking the ceiling spot because of the lack of speed booster. No, lack of energy for speed booster sign spark. And just 20 rupees at the reserve tank, so that's not gonna get used at all.
Yep, Asjir's running low on spots for there to be progression in Wrecked Ship. Has the sky here and then 2 more items in the bowling sequence.
Azure has to be a little careful. He might want to farm some energy before getting into the bowling area.
Yeah, these enemies in here, the ones that fly up and then fall back down, are coded as Meridia enemies, and so they actually deal a ton of damage to Suitless Samus.
I'm actually more worried about the spikes than and whether he can get all that shine spark. Oh, he has enough energy for
That was
spark.
so good.
Really good. He knew how much energy he needed.
Yeah, well, we get runners of a whole variety of skill levels, and certainly all of them great. These runners have all played a lot, practiced a lot, and we'll see them complete the seeds with a good time. It's a joy to be able to watch someone as experienced as Ashdar show off a number of those tricks.
Indeed, and Lenophis found the Bloomerang in Edakun's. Zimnala a little short on money to get to Pod. Ooh.
Is everyone still on just those 5 power bombs that we got? And like, oh, just as I said that, Ashdar gets a second pack.
No, no. By the end of checking nearly as much as they did, they got 10. They had 10 power bombs for Super Metroid. Oh, high jump boots at the gravity suit location. So that's our only progression of wrecked ship. This wasn't a very good ship today.
If it wasn't, but at the same time, high jump boots do a couple of things. First of all, they make you feel really good. Playing the game without high jump, especially when you have speed booster, is like night and day. But the other thing is that high jump can be progression depending on if that space jump stays unavailable. There are certain rooms where high jump is required and speed booster won't get the job done, at least in normal logic.
No, still, everybody loves a good pair of Air Jordans. So other things we missed, Lenolphus found the bug net at the Mission Impossible room. He's at the Wavegate glitch room, and he gets it very quickly.
Falfin is asking about if high jump does anything for us right now. I'm thinking nothing in logic yet. If we get various suit, it opens up the top left of Bubble Mountain. What else?
You missed something good at Lenova's screen. The Wavegate glitch room, it had the fire rod.
Oh, sick. So that's a good sequence break to do if you're on your first way through Brinstar here. That gives us information about the game. We've got both rods, and we know that Wave Beam is somewhere, and it's required because both Skull Woods and Turtle Rock are crystals.
So it looks like Prier finally got his Morph Ball and is heading into Super Metroid.
I'm loving Ashdur's health total right now. Like, look at this.
I am kinda, but not completely surprised he's not doing Crystal Flash right now, because
Would need to farm
like,
up
he
some
does.
more power bombs.
Yeah, power bombs and missiles. It's like At the time when he got that final power bomb back, he could have done it right then and there, but then he wouldn't been able to get out of wreck ship.
Yep, but energy refill right at the bottom of Red Tower here, duly taking advantage of it.
Simnala unfortunately taking a death. I don't think that was a death warp.
Yeah, a pod can be tricky, like tricky hard with this amount of energy. If you get nabbed by a couple of those Kadongos, I believe they're called, in the Dark Maze, for example, that's a quick way to lose all your health. Prier's taking the opposite of the Brinstar loop route that Leno's been doing, starting in Retro Bryn.
Also checking the meme route, see if there's anything there. And oh, there are other mails. So when he goes to wreck ship, he'll get a red mail.
Cool. So low hearts, but a lot of mail upgrades available. Depending on if our runners get them soon, they'll have a much safer link to the past. Ashter's making our first play into Kraid's area. About 3 items total here, and oh, look at that.
Yes, he's gonna be reflecting upon that item a lot because he knows that opens up something he doesn't want to go.
I see what you did there. So mirror, what does that do for us? Let's think about this. Tower of Hera and yeah, just actually no. Tower of Hera was already accessible via the combination of hookshot and hammer. The fire source is taken care of by lamp, so we don't have to worry that fire runs out of logic. So what else does the mirror do for us? K45 graveyard ledge type checks.
Their swamp.
Oh yeah, Swamp is fully in logic. And by the way, nice quick kill. Asger takes down Kraid without getting a DLC. Someone said Grav in chat. Oh, Gravity's in Billy Mays.
That's a nice find for Prier. They're all the. That's actually pretty out of the way for a lot of these runners. I mean, Lenofis and Zimnala already checked that area. They might not think about going back there just yet.
Yeah, the good thing about Brinstar is the sort of double loop shape you get, where you can actually still efficiently get the stuff you missed on your second time through, especially if you're routing to wreck ship, by taking advantage of going, say, down Red Tower or down Blue Bryn and up Red Tower. Word spoken in chat is pointing out that the logic is very open. That's absolutely true. We've got all of Wreck Ship available thanks to the combination of Speed Booster and Gravity Suit. Azure finds Wave Beam at High Jump, which puts that. Sorry, what did we get at Wave Gate? Fire Rod puts that Fire Rod in logic. That means Skull Woods is completable in logic.
And we found our third sword in the high jump boots area.
Nice. So hopefully none of these runners will have to do Master Sword Ganon.
Well, they won't have to deal with its silverless, but it'll be Master Sword.
Well, we've seen 3 total swords, right? They're just in different places, but they're pretty accessible.
That is true.
But yeah, so logically, we still haven't seen the East Death Mountain stuff because Ashter's making our first trip up there through the Super Metroid portal. So we've got Hera, we've got Swamp Palace, Skull Woods, Overworld, Mirror Checks in the Dark World, Meridia. We're going to see a lot of divergence and a lot of new content soon.
Yeah, the only thing that's holding the runners back are the gloves. because they need the Titanus Myth to get to Ganon's Tower and to Turtle Rock.
That's right. It's noteworthy that Swamp Palace is not a crystal today, but between the 6 items inside and the green pen on top of that, with it being in Logic this early, we'll probably see a lot of Swamp plays.
Yeah, that's why I said that the Azure's probably going to reflect upon that mirror a lot, because Swamp, it was the first thing I thought of, especially a Pendant Swamp. I mean, these runners are really experienced. They pretty much know what's expected of them.
All right, Tower of Hera is not basement locked to complete, but it could have an item in the basement.
Yeah, wouldn't that be fun for our runners? Especially for Azure right now, since he doesn't have a fire. Oh wait, he has a lamp. Never mind.
Leno's going to be our first runner to save the old man and see what that check is. It usually comes into access through the glove or something, but here we are at the first try coming from Super Metroid.
Ooh, that old man's giving up his walking cane because that's gotta be Kane.
I can't believe it.
And Azure forgot to do that first, so I wonder when he's gonna go back to do that.
Pretty soon, probably in the drop down from Hera and then go to East Death Mountain using the hookshot.
Oh, well, yeah, there is that. I just thinking he might go straight to East Death Mountain because of the hammer, but we'll see.
First Moldorm fight of the game, using the fighter's sword instead of the hammer. Or sorry, no, that's a master sword. Never mind. 3 spins and it's over. The colors were just off enough that I couldn't tell.
And there's our first pendulum match. Lenofis found our second shield. Our first shield was in Red Tower. And let's see what Mini Moldorm Cave has.
Well, the other mini Moldorm cave, Paradox
Yeah,
Cave.
Paradox Cave. Yeah. Oh, okay.
It has 3/4 as many mini Moldorms.
And looks like the basement needs to be checked by Ashter because there was nothing else at the top. And Paradox Cave was just a missile cave today.
Yeah, a tile locked or tile room basement cutscene, all that for Hera is slow and it's one check, but it's something you really hate to isolate.
So we have Prier doing the Vantoon fight, taking out everybody's favorite ghost elephant, and Zemnala's taking a look at the Green Bryn, and Lovis getting a dead rock.
Oh, and Lenofis doesn't have Quake yet to take revenge on the Dead Rocks.
Yeah, he went straight to pod, not doing anything West Side Dark World. And Aster didn't find anything in Hera. Hera was a bust.
So the cane doesn't do anything yet. We can't get into Turtle Rock without the mitts, and we can't get into. We need flute and mitts to get into Mire, plus whatever the medallion requirements are.
Yeah, since we did see that space jump at Desert Ledge.
Ooh, the double Dead Rock. But I guess there's no reason to go over there, so it doesn't matter.
I think it was just looking into the faraway mountaintop. Yes, I know we call it the floating isle, but it's really a faraway mountaintop, people. And Spiral Cave only has an E tank, so wow, Death Mountain didn't really have anything beside. Well, it had the cave, but East Side had nothing.
Yeah, it's pretty unusual for as many checks as we had available. Um, so the places that are deepest in the logic remaining and with the most items are Swamp and Meridia, so my money is definitely on those.
So Prier, with all those E tanks, was able to take down the Phantom very, very easily. And so Nala's taking a look at Pink Brimstone. Gonna love what they see in the Wavegate glitch room.
Let's see here. What are some of our other options besides the ones we've mentioned? I'm looking at our like crystals and pendants and so forth. Um, Nothing else that we haven't mentioned is accessible yet. We still don't have desert access. We still don't have the bow.
Yeah, we're uh not we don't really have that much. Also, to answer your question, Jack, both Waterway and Shaft Supers have been total trash.
And as far as pedestal dreams go, we still need mitts in order to even get into Ice Palace. So that seems like it's a ways off.
Yeah, there's that though. We could see. We kind of be funny if Varia was there though.
Yeah, bow, Varia, and maybe a medallion or something could be on there. Maybe the flute.
Or Boots. You find out that GT has the big key, and then oh, we need the boots. Or GT Torch has the big key.
Yep, that's probably the single biggest troll of all the item distributions in this randomizer.
I think one of the races recently had that. They neither runner had the boots, and they had to scramble to look for it.
Yeah, that definitely happened in a weekly, and they were on Pendant Armos nights just recently. That I think Ozzy 101 was able to finish relatively quickly, but most of the other runners got like 30 minutes tacked on.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. Yes, I think that was that was correct. So it's more than an hour in. Let me put their links in chat. But please follow the runners. They are doing this race for all of your entertainment.
So both Ashter and Lungfist now have all of the available sword upgrades, so we've got some tempered action about to happen in Link to the Past.
Yeah, they're not gonna worry about getting the butter sword because tempered is pretty much enough. It's logically enough, actually.
Yeah, Zumnala, as someone points out in chat here, is farming for power bombs. They do have the one required to get out, but they want more so they can get down to Waterway, as well as probably do other checks in Bridstar. Though if you get down to Waterway, at least you can farm in that room. But it's a 4% drop from these little skeeters or whatever they're called that come out of the pipes.
Yeah, this is gonna be a very long farm for them.
I can never remember the names of the enemies in Super Metroid. They're all things like skeeters and beamers and zeemers and yeah.
And Namahaze and the key hunters and all that. Just like they're not they're not the they're not the easiest to remember. And we got a new check here from the Nophis. He's gonna check the front of Gauntlet.
Nice. Also, it looks like some Nala is potentially isolating not only the waterway but the charge beam location too. Just getting sick of doing that farm. They will need to find power bombs before they go into Crate if they want to route that way. Oh, but you know what? You can farm power bombs off of the little hopper in the middle of Red Tower here.
But don't you need a power bomb to open those? Oh, never mind. Sorry, neighbor.
And then they're going to go right in and mass farm off the fire fleas.
Yes, these fire fleas pretty much always drop a power bomb.
Meanwhile, Lenofis going for a 3-tap short charge here to go into the gauntlet. Not required. You can get through here a number of different ways. You can also set up a Shine Spark by just going up top and dropping down.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's messed up that spark, and now he's got it. He's got the. Does he have the full fly? Yes, he did. He did the wraparound. He either did the wraparound or he just shot the door first, and then went from here.
All that for some missiles, but it still looked pretty.
And unfortunately, it took like a minute or two of his time, so he might not like that feeling.
Yeah, as Word Spoken points out in chat, that is a tight short charge. The way I practice it was by going into the Super Metroid practice ROM, and you can turn on something called Magic Pants, where Samus's legs will light up on the frame where you should tap in order to get your short charge going. Really helpful for getting your rhythm down for that trick.
It's literally called Magic Pants.
Yeah, when you go into the debug and like options menu to adjust ammo and equipment and stuff. That's what it's called.
Okay, I'm not gonna question the naming of that.
By the way, highly recommend if you're trying to learn these randomizers and you want to get the tricks mastered for both of them. They each have practice ROMs available out there on the internet.
I haven't played either game in a very long while, so I'll probably do that. Though I can't really speedrun because my, well, arthritis and all that jazz.
Ah, I see.
I have enough trouble playing fighting games right now, so.
Understood. Yeah, we've got other people in the community that deal with some issues like that. Commodora retired, though will occasionally still race if they get a donation from the chat. But we used to see Commodore on stream a lot, but then they'd have to take breaks for their hand pain.
Oh, Zanala got the hand was trolling. Zanala has to deal with the Great DLC.
That's never fun.
One more shot, and they got it. Meanwhile, Lenofis is still dealing with our ghost elephants. Not having... almost done. Probably just need a couple more missiles and a super. And there you go, our ghost elephant is down. So we need to figure out where can they go from here. Without Varia, unless they really want to do hell runs, Norfair is off the table. They are gonna get gravity. Well, Azur's gonna get gravity suit fairly soon once he goes through the meat route into Blue Bryn. There is that swamp play that none of the runners really want to do either, but it's a possibility. So we need but yeah, once Azure gets the gravity suit from Blue Bryn, I'm fully expecting a Meridia play. Azure nearly skipping out on that red mail, but decides to go back and get it. And the Novus decide to get the fire shield, which is a good idea. Pierre gonna find out that his gauntlet check wasn't really that great, but we'll keep that heart piece anyway. Or heart container, excuse me.
So do you think Zimnala, with that massive amount of energy, is going to be doing some hell runs?
Admittedly, I don't know what their skill level is, so I can't really say which way.
For sure. Azure picking up Gravity finally might be our first runner to make a play into Meridia.
Yeah, I'm fully expecting him to go to Meridia and not Swamp. I mean, you'd want to go to one water palace, but not the other, since the one place is, well, a pendant.
Absolutely. And Meridia just has more total items. I kind of always forget the total count, but it's around 14. That might not include Shack Tool, though, which of course is out of logic without grapple.
Yeah, they don't even have Ice Beam to pull off the Ice Clip. Though, if Azur's could do the Crystal Flash Clip if you wanted to.
That would be funny, yeah. Probably not worth just for Shack Tool, but we did see Cross Product do that on stream a couple weeks ago, and Cross Product is actually one of our off-stream runners today.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was referencing.
Zimnala picking up their cane.
It's funny how that old man's giving up his cane. I mean, doesn't he still need to walk?
Must have a blue cane stashed somewhere.
Yeah, there is that.
I play League of Legends. It's another one of my sort of primary esports games, and the champion in it that I main is called Nasus, and he wields a cane. So like when I see these canes in Randomizer, and I'm just thinking like D cane. If anyone in chat plays League, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Nah, it's too much of a lull for me, so I don't really play.
Lol.
It's not a bad game, it's just not my typical. And Azur's gonna do the exact same Shine Spark Fly through Gauntlet and gonna be super disappointed.
All right, so Azure is back at the ship. Has not too much left to check over here, unless they haven't been down. Wait, have they gone through Green and Pink Bryn yet? Oh, I see. They're going to Link to the Past. Now, yeah, it's going to be a reset to the Death Mountain portal, probably to go to Meridia.
Either the Death Mountain portal or he'll take the Pyramid portal. Oh, never mind. I was thinking that. But oh, he hasn't done the hobo check, so he's gonna check that. He might take the Hyrule Castle portal back to Dark World and then swim down to Dark Lake Hylia.
Yeah, that's true. You could route in, picking up that screw attack, and then go in Meridia from back to front.
Yeah, that screw attack pretty early. Oh, he's not doing it, unfortunately. But that screw attack pretty early is when you still have half a Super Metroid to do is a really good find.
Yep. And Space Jump, it's in such a weird spot, but it's interesting that we could see both Space Jump and Screw Attack just kind of hanging out on ledges to be found somewhere later in the seed. And the Screw Attack is accessible, the Space Jump isn't.
So looks like Azer's doing the Meridia play. I mean, it's either this or Swamp House that has something.
Or Skullwoods, right? Have we seen any treasures from there?
There was a Super Missile Pack, but I can't remember there was anything else.
Yeah, one treasure sounds right. So we've still got the boss of Skullwoods to beat. What are our 5, 6 crystals? Pod is the other one. Okay, so we can't see the Pyramid Fairy yet.
Nope, not without the bow. Heart Container at Main Street. Didn't see that crab area.
I think it was a missile.
Yeah, I was just watching the restream and it looked like trash.
So a fun out of logic play right now that's actually pretty easy. Shovel. All right, fetch quest. A fun out of logic play that could happen is take this gravity suit, hell run your way down to the lava dive in Norfair, go into lower Norfair, and then come out in my area and mirror in to get the space jump out of logic, just so you have it.
But by that time, was Space Jump going to be that useful?
I mean, who knows? It's down there, and like that could be your way to do a Mire Desert combo play, and I don't know. Sometimes it's fun to break the logic depending on how attractive the rest of your options are. But with again Meridia and Swamp Palace, there's no reason to do that kind of play yet.
Just refresh my memory. What checks here are Space Jump locked for Meridian?
Just check tool. High jump allows us to get out of plasma. And screw attack, if Azure had picked it up, would be a logical way to kill the pirates and escape plasma.
Though you can use Speed Booster as well, or Shine Spark, excuse me.
Yeah, they. Sorry, 1 second. Oh, I felt a sneeze and it didn't come. Anyways, yeah, Azure is totally proficient with the short charges to Shine Spark the pirates there.
No, I remember this one race last year where somebody had very low energy and had to use the Shine Spark echoes in the worst possible manner, and it was pretty hair-raising.
One thing I just thought about, so on the floor where you need to set up the short charge in plasma, you still need to be able to kill the pirate that's down there in order to actually do the short charge. So without like charge beam to do a mock screw or screw attack or plasma, you can't actually do your short charge to begin with.
That is true, so yeah, I don't think Azur's gonna bother with plasma today.
Right, Sandpit has the meme beam. I don't know if Azure would route back in there to get that. It depending on what the other sandpit has, and of course depending if they want to exit through the back of Meridia portal, Spazer is like an okay pickup at this point to combine with Wave Beam.
Yeah, he's probably got pretty good amount of ammo. He has enough ammo for Ridley. Whether he has enough for Motherbrain, this is my only question.
Pre getting that Kraid DLC.
Taking the big lizard to the prom. Womp womp. And the other sandpit was trash, so yeah, we're gonna see a reset from Azure.
Is Zimnala going to pick up their screw attack? Maybe even... Actually, I'm not sure. No, they skipped Billy Mays because of their power bomb situation, so this cannot be a route to Meridia.
Yeah, they've been having a lot of power bomb issues in this race. It's pretty bad.
Azure fighting Botwoon, who requires 10 super missiles to kill, but has the trolliest hitbox in all of Super Metroid. Also a boss that's possible to softlock on, though probably not with this much ammo.
I guess you can say that Watoon's the Moldorm of this of Super Metroid.
Yeah, they're both very snake-like.
As they're just getting the halfie as opposed to the full one. Didn't jump high enough, but that's fine. He got halfway there.
So it looks like Zimnala is just doing some Dark World overworld checks, though they are close-ish to Swamp Palace, so we might see a play over there.
We got Bombos in the Precious Room, so named because somebody misspelled previous. And I'm fully expecting Azure to do Shine Spark mixed with Super Missile Strats on our favorite shrimp monster. And yes, this is an hour and 22 minutes in. We have no gloves. We're wondering where the heck these gloves are.
Late gloves can make for a really interesting seed. Makes routing very inconvenient. And if they go all the way to being like your go mode item, it actually means a ton of dungeons never need to be checked.
Yeah, having a late Titans, it's actually pretty good because you don't have to deal with stuff. You don't have to worry about Dark Death Mountain, like Ice Palace, and like you would only need to like go mode Mire and Turtle Rock. But yeah, not having at least the Power Glove is kind of weird. And just 50 rupees with Dragon, so Azure's not going to pick that up.
Azure finished off that fight very quickly. The item behind Dragon, and indeed killing Dragon to begin with, is in Logic right now. It comes into Logic not just with Gravity Suit, but also with some way to gain height and get out of the room. High jump and speed booster will do that for you in normal Logic because you can just run along the ground and then get a wall jump out.
And Zanala's making the swamp play. Will there be progression in swamp? That's gonna be the question. And we found our third medallion, Ether, in the first chest in swamp.
Alright, so all the medallions being in pretty convenient locations, this is not going to be a medallion hunt seed.
It might if there's nothing else in Meridia, because that's their last check. And so far, it looks like 2/3. Well, wait. How many pendants have we checked? Oh, we only checked two of them. Never mind.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but with that medallion being the only thing in sort of the main stretch through Meridia, it's very possible that this will be something someone can go mode from the back, or if they do need that medallion, they go in from the back, find it, and then don't need to check any of the rest. But pending on the plasma check.
Which Azur's doing right now. I think he saved beforehand, so if there's nothing here, he's not going to worry about it. And it's just triple booms, and I was right. So there was just the bombs and the shovel and Spazer so far in Meridia. So it's not looking that great. And all we have left is Shactool.
Yeah, sometimes the logic, you're trying to follow it and it can be a bit misleading. You get an item like gravity not too far into the game, and you think, oh, well, this opens up so much. Clearly, you're going to find something in Meridia. But in this case, it might have only given us a required medallion, which is like, yeah, you need it, but it feels bad to have checked all the rest of that stuff.
And it looks like Ashter is gonna go get that power bomb from Watoon. Is probably gonna get that Spazer from, or maybe I'm wrong.
Nope, straight into Dark World. So Azure, with the loadout, I'm not sure if they've been down to the desert to see that space jump, but they know Screw Attack is available. They're already on 9 energy tanks plus 1 or 2 reserves, so they're collecting power bombs to do suitless lower Norfair and possibly go mode without gravity. Or sorry, without Varia.
I was hoping that he would remember that space jump was at Lake Hylia Island, but maybe he'll get it this way.
The Screw Attack, you mean?
Yeah, Screw Attack, excuse me. Because, yeah, fighting those key hunters suck.
Yeah, Azure is one of those runners we know for sure is comfortable with all kinds of suitless situations. Though one time, I believe they were on a restream and died like 9 or 10 times or something trying to get through and out of Lower Norfair, and just had some really unfortunate luck with their crystal flashes and farming and stuff.
Oh god, Swamp was the play. Varia was on the west side of Swamp.
Ooh, wow. That's an interesting spot for it. So good on Zimnala for getting it, which could give them a bit of an edge here. But left side swamp is something a lot of people will skip, and if Azure finds a way to like get into go mode without that, we could see them just skip left side swamp.
Or just skip Swamp entirely unless there's something in the north side.
By the way, they did just pick up the charge beam in Cave 45. We did have another runner visit there earlier, but I missed it. I want to say Zimnala has been to Cave 45 and should also have charge.
Yeah, because that's technically progression for Ridley despite their ammo counts.
Indeed, charge beam will never be in Ganon's tower because it is required for Ridley. And if you see something in the progression chain behind Ridley, you have to know, okay, well, this isn't in logic until I know where charge is.
Also, Varia and Gravity and a couple other items sometimes can never be in Ganon's tower.
Indeed.
And it was programmed like that, so you win these races would be boring, where you'd only see runners go through Link to the Past, beat that, then go to Super Metroid. It just that just didn't seem really interesting. Ooh, morph bombs.
Okay, so morph ball bombs give us our can fly or infinite vertical part of our logic for Super Metroid, so that space jump won't be required given its location behind a space locked location.
Yeah, that that is a can fly. That would that would actually give Aster the reason to go to Norfair, I guess. With the various suit, of course.
Yeah, but Azur's in Swamp early enough that this is not Go mode, so they will get their various suit, and the suitless dreams probably die here.
At least go mode for Super Metroid, not so much for Link to the Past.
Or I might have misphrased that, but I just meant they're not Go moding this dungeon because it's like way too early, so they're gonna full clear it.
Oh yeah, true.
Argus down for some Nala.
I don't think I saw the big key, so I think the big key's locked in his chest.
That's always convenient.
And they also have the green pendant, so that's another place they can check. And you know what? Getting that green pendant might make Azure think about going to Sahasra and get his ice rod.
Indeed. There's a bit of discussion in chat about the meaning of Go mode. So for those of you who are newer to randomizers, um, you're trying to collect all these different items that are in the game, and once you have all of the ones that are required to beat it, you no longer have to search for any items if you don't wish, and you can just go straight through the boss fights until you succeed at completing the game.
Yeah, the one thing we never really say about it, randomizer, it's always any percent. It's rarely, pretty much never 100%. And it looks like Aster's just going straight to the north side of Swamp. Not gonna bother with west side just yet.
Yeah, if the center and north portion of Swamp Palace had some different kind of progression that led Azure elsewhere, maybe you would have seen left side skip and then various skip and so on and so forth. But we know that it'll just be a trip back into the left side for various, since Azure doesn't have much left to check.
Yeah, now that I think about it, it went open, and then now this the seed was linear, then went open, and then went back to linear. So this is interesting for the seed.
Yeah, and it's probably got to be glove upgrades in Upper Norfair, given what we have and don't have access to, because that's our only way in. But it's only part of Norfair because we can't get through to Lower without the space jump that's locked behind it. You could maybe see a book in Upper Norfair leading to space jump on Desert Ledge leading back to Lower Norfair.
So wait, so even morph bombs with Varia and gravity, that's not considered the progression to lower Norfair?
No, you're not expected to bomb jump through the lava dive room because of the projectiles that are firing out constantly, make it way too difficult.
Okay, I was just kind of curious. And it looks like Prier is also making the same dive into Swamp. And yes, an hour and a half in, still no gloves. It's the hands are really cold, especially in wintertime.
We have Zimnala going back to the Brinstar and Criteria loop area, hopefully to get their gravity suit from Billy Mays, and hopefully to go back get that fire rod that they missed at Wavegate, because that would be a really bad item to isolate.
Yeah, because they already did like 90% of Pink Bryn. That'd be a little too far away to check for them if they don't do it right now.
Yeah, having
Arena?
already done Swamp and lacking Gravity, this is also kind of the only play for Zanella. Oh wait, actually no, they have Varia. They were the first to Varia, but it looks like they fortunately made this route choice.
I don't remember them doing Waterway, correct?
Right, they didn't have the power bombs to go into Waterway or Charge Beam.
So this might be fortuitous because they know instead it was just one check, they might not care, but two checks they will. And both Astor and Prier are going to be getting their various suits soon.
So in Upper Norfair, because we have both Speed Booster and Wave, those are redundant logical access to the Crocomire area. So that extra, oh, and as well Crumble Tower and all that stuff. So there's 7 items between Ice Crumble and Croc, in addition to the usual Bubble Mountain stuff.
We've been kind of seeing it a little bit lately, but there a couple of races ago there was something at Croc, but not the last one I remember.
Yeah, Crocomere is an area I really like to skip when I'm trying to cut out things and not, take too much time in one place or another. Um, it doesn't burn me too often, but when it does, yeah, it feels bad.
Also, Lenofis unfortunately had to deal with the Crate DLC. I think only Asder of our stream runners didn't deal with the DLC today.
Okay, so Ashter is finally going to see what's on the desert ledge over here and get Agina. They have never been down to this corner of the world, having quickly made the decision to go to Aghanim like 20 minutes into the seed.
Again, I hope he checks Eastern first, but it's probably not in his mind since he doesn't have the bow. But you know that with how trolly it would be if the bow was in Turtle Rock.
Oh my, yeah, that would be. But I think I think it would be pretty hard to miss a go mode item that's in Sahashwala's closet. That's just like that's almost never skipped in seed. You can mirror in from. Well, no, wait, he won't go back to pod until the bow. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's like this kind of always happens to Asder, where Asder, where he skips like the most common of places in a run, and it sometimes bites him.
Yeah, I've seen front of escape skip, for example.
Interesting. Asder looks like he's going to Lower Norfair right now instead of
I love it.
checking out Bubble Mountain.
So yeah, this is a big play. It's out of logic, but that space jump already makes it kind of worth it. And then you get to go and complete Misery Mire, potentially Desert if it's not boots locked. Go to Super Bunny Cave, or not Super Bunny, Mire Shed, Checkerboard Cave, and so on.
Nice gravity jump by Ash there. Doesn't have to even worry about those um, fireball. Still has to turn back on his gravity suit, but that's semantics.
Has anyone else been to the Graveyard Lodge yet? Because with Mirror being at Kraid, the first time through this Dark World was mirrorless. So yeah, this might be the first time.
Yeah, I think this is the first time, and Lenofis is that first person. Hof- he will need to have something here for it to be worth. And it's kind of far away right now. Oh, Butter Sword's pretty worth, but just not progression.
Meanwhile, Azure will go through with the fight against Golden Terizo. Might have to farm up, yeah, some supers during the fight because GT will catch like 1 out of every 3 if you're just kind of pumping them in, and needs, gosh, like 20 hits, 18 or 20 hits or something to go down. Maybe it's only 15.
Unfortunately,
Oh, charge beam.
yeah, charge, wave, no others, but it's gonna take a little longer, but it's fine.
Of note, they didn't put back on their gravity suit, which means they're taking extra damage, but you can stand in one particular spot at GT's feet and never take damage during the fight.
We also got our first look at Ice Beam location, was Zimnala checking that. And that was just 300 rupees, and Priyar's also gonna turn in their green pendant. Let's see what Sahasra has in its back pocket. And it was just a piece of his heart. Womp womp.
So of note, Ashter had to go through with that fight because lacking flute and mitts and so forth, this is the only way into the mire area, so it would be a horrible time loss to reset from there. I only do, of course, the reset if I have the flute and mitts.
And it is Quake for Meyer today.
Oh my god, Ashter just did something that I did myself a couple seeds ago, and that's go to Checkerboard Cave without gloves.
Yeah, muscle memory is just, yeah, that's just muscle memory. And we got our first croc fight from Zimnala. Ooh, we got the flute!
Oh my god, so what? Wait a minute.
Flute
Book.
in.
No. Book is logically required because Book would get you to desert to space jump to get that flute. So Book is the only way in, or Book to space jump is the only way in since the flute is in the Myers shed. That's so funny.
Oh, this sea, this crazy sea, it's so linear.
So yeah, we don't know where that book is. It's out there in the world, probably in Norfair, but Azure just sequence broke it.
Maybe Bubble Mountain, maybe behind Croc, and looks like boots still not required so far. Not until we see what's on the GT torch. Since Desert only has the nacho plate on its torch.
Yeah, so this is the kind of sequence break that Azure's making that's really easy to piece together. Like, they know in the back of their mind exactly what item was missed, generally where it is, and that they're probably not out of logic, so it's okay to continue looking for items and potential progression here.
Speaking of items, first item in Desert is just a super pack. This is going to be the big key since there's nothing else.
Zamala finished off Croc and is going to get us the remaining checks in the area.
And the Novice takes on our favorite, in quotation marks, favorite moth.
Fun fact, Mothula cannot be damaged by Butter Sword in the vanilla game, but for the sake of the randomizer, the slashes have at least been changed to deal damage at their normal caliber. It's because of the class of damage that Temper Sword spins, Butter Sword spins, and slashes, and so forth do. That's the same as the spikes, and Mothula is immune to the spikes.
So the moth only drops a piece of paper, which means the last item, if they haven't seen the other item, is in the chest on the bottom of the bridge, which Pryor is just walking over.
Oh my god, another fetch quest. I don't know if we saw the shovel turned in, but we've got the mushroom now.
I think Shovel's trash. Unless I'm mistaken, Asder checked it. I could be wrong.
Oh, Falcon in chat points out that Butter doesn't actually do its normal damage with the slashes against Mothula. It was down powered to tempered sword slash damage. That's funny.
Yeah, it makes sense because they can't really change the programming, I guess, to fully because that would screw up everything else for the game. And there
Yeah.
was nothing in desert, just the crystal.
Meyer is full clearable, so that's probably the very next play for Ashdir before heading through Lower Norfair.
Yeah, because I don't see him like going to activate his flute just yet.
Chat's pointing out that there was a vanilla grapple down in, behind Crocomere.
Is this even randomized? But that's also funny because Shack Tool gets into play.
Yeah, Shaktul is almost in logic. We do need the Book of Medora location to truly make Shaktul play.
But otherwise, it was just grapple at Croc, so not much. That the crocodile didn't really have much.
All right, will this trip be fortuitous for Ashdir, or will it be mired in misery?
I saw what you did there.
Um, as I was talking about earlier about like dungeon item stacking and dungeons with lots of keys, disproportionately having more, etc. Meyer is another one of those. Oh, there's the first glove. Okay.
An hour and 46 minutes in, we finally get our gloves. That's pretty ridiculous.
Wow. So finally, Hester can pick things up. Poor Link was just too weak before.
This sea, it's so weird and funny and linear. And the thing is, we still need to figure out where that book is just to get into Meyer. Holy crow.
Yeah, we should see it from Zanala here soon. I'm pretty certain book is in Upper Norfair.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that is like the last place to check right now.
But as we can all see, Ashdir's sequence break is extending what was already a pretty substantial lead for them amongst our on-stream runners. And to finish the point I was making, because there are 3 keys and only 2 treasures, but it's 3 small keys, right? In Meyer?
Yeah, I think it was 3 keys and then 2 keys in pots and then...
Yeah, so the proportion of keys to chests in Meyer makes it disproportionately more likely to have progression following that whole dungeon logic I talked about earlier in the seed.
So Azure doesn't want to check the cutscene chest. Meanwhile, Wave had nothing, and I don't think... Yeah, Wave area had nothing.
Yeah, I think Azure's at a point now where it's a pretty good bet to skip cutscene and not full clear Meyer potentially, though they're going to it anyways, so whatever. But what I was going to say is because they got the Power Glove here, like that's the worth. It not necessarily likely they'll find other progression in the one other item here, though I would fall out of my chair if it were double glove Meyer.
I think I would do the same thing. Like, I don't know why the gloves would be in Meyer. I mean, the Vitreous doesn't even have any hands or fingers. Ooh, Ice Beam in space speed booster area.
Nice. So, and
And
there it
the
is.
book. You're
So we have access to the full new beam, as it's called. The new any percent route in Super Metroid uses every beam but plasma together, which, when fully charged, gives you super missile damage against Mother Brain.
so they skip plasma now. That's interesting.
Yeah, to make the run substantially more efficient, any percent Super Metroid now uses the CWJ to get into Rex ship after climbing Red Tower to. Oh, there's our other glove!
Bubble Mountain was the play. Holy, let's see. Okay, I want to see what's in reserve tank before was that or energy tank, reserve tank, whatever. It's a tank area. Oh, boots.
Wow, it's absolutely stacked. Asher will get all these items on their way out of Lower Norfair. Um, but now we've suddenly sped way, way up, and we're no mode -1. The only thing we don't know about for go mode for these runners to finish the game is the location of the bow.
Indeed. Like I would laugh if Bo was on Vitreous because that typically it's easier to take down Vitreous with the bow.
Yeah, if the bow is on Vidi, or it just comes along pretty quickly somewhere in Lower Norfair, Asher's going to get those other items on the way out, and then could be in a really early go mode. But
It
again, the bow could troll us. The bow could be inside TR. It could be inside Ice Palace.
it could be pedestal, it could be tablet, it could be in many places since Eastern and Pod are crystals.
Mind of Me in chat is pointing out a really, really troll potential sequence. Oh no, that's the actual sequence. The scene is troll. The whole scene is just that's hilarious.
Yeah, this is one of those. I think it was coined a long time ago. Tortured logic seeds. That's it's just crazy.
So to recap it, because I just want to read this out, Mind of Me posted Aga 1 to Morphin Pod to Mirror at Crade to Varia and Swamp to Book and Gloves in Upper Norfair to Space Jump and Desert to Lower Norfair to Titans and Flute and Mire area has been our progression sequence. And following all that, I mean, Bo is probably mitts locked somewhere, and I'm guessing Turtle Rock, just because it has the most remaining items.
It's just missing gravity at Billy Mason because I do recall gravity being required for Norfair, or am I wrong?
Oh yeah, gravity. So that would be in the same sphere as that mirror at Crade. That Mind of Me pointed out.
Meanwhile, Azure takes down the big eyeball very quickly, and he's got his third crystal.
That's actually, I mean, of course, the glove locations and so forth really delayed the seed, but that's a pretty late third crystal in general for combo rando.
And Dafon pointing out that the Pyramid Fairy is not going to be checked because our last no mode item is the bow, and one of our 5-6 crystals is Pod.
Indeed, and so not sequence breaking anything. Zimnala is going into Desert the vanilla way, casting the Ancient Incantation.
So Lenofus just checked dig spot. It was 20 rupees, so that's not very. That's a typical dig, I would say. Meanwhile, Prior takes down Batu. I'm gonna head to Dragon.
Ooh, Asher's gonna get this. Never mind. Just gonna use Space Screw. Oh, Asher never picked up Screw Attack, even though it was so accessible. That's funny. I mean, they don't need it. They've got plenty of other gear for lower Norfair, but it's just surprising to see.
I guess it'd be considered a little too out of the way for him, but yeah, that's what I was mentioning. He should have. I would have thought that he would have routed in screw attack while checking the hobo, but I guess
By the way, that was a beautiful worst room in the game. Azure, though having space jump, did exactly the same as the any percent clear or traversal of that room, where you go in, you move kind of right into the middle, and then loop back around to the wall, laying a power bomb. Then you fall down, jump back up, and during the iframes of the pirates, you do your first wall jump off the wall with high jump, and then get up, and then even finish it off by morph balling in midair to get over the final pirate and up to Mickey Mouse room.
which had a very convenient energy tank since he only had 500 energy left. Zimnala picking up their space jump, and the Novice is finally gonna check Swamp Palace.
Falfin in chat points out that Screw Attack does have some downsides, and that's right. If you've already completed most of Super Metroid, you'll end up just menuing off Screw Attack to do your Zebetite skip in the late game anyways.
That is true. Power bomb's a shame. Let's see what's in there. Just the blue bee of shame.
To quickly go back to a point where I think I stopped or I interrupted myself because we found another glove. The any percent route in Super Metroid skips Plasma by just doing Dragon as the final of the Golden Four bosses, and just doesn't need to go get it. It makes Mother Brain slightly longer, but the time trade-off is easily worth it.
This game is how many years old? 25? Something like that? And we're still finding new tech.
Yeah. There was a clip going around recently. Everyone's like, oh, new tech. There's this new spring ball space jump baby skip in Torian. But even though the video just kind of went viral, it's actually been known for like 4 years, I think.
Oh, that's okay. I thought it was completely new, but I guess not. But that's the thing about stuff that turn into memes. Actually, going a little bit off topic, but yeah, that's the thing about memes. They tend to be older than you think, or even like tech. You find out is like, eh, it wasn't as widespread. So Prior takes down the Dragon, and Zimnala took down Lanmo. Lenophis gonna be getting Invaria, and Ajder just finally takes down Ridley.
Chad Realm in chat points out that, yeah, there was a new Super Metroid tech discovered recently in the speedless Frog Speedway.
Yes, it again, Aussie 101's the person that well, no, somebody else found it, but Aussie's the one that put it into video. But basically, it really only works for rando. It's only useful in rando, so it's considered a minor glitch. Basically, you have to go from right to left in the Frog Speedway, and you need to have wave plus spazer or plasma. You shoot towards the upper left corner of the screen. There's some promo blocks there, and if you shoot enough, you can actually kind of not break the game a little, and you'll be able to walk through the walls in the Frog Speedway. I think there's another place you can use that in, but I can't remember where it was.
Oh, this is what's? Oh, is this just a? Oh, wait, has Zimnala been up to this? Oh, it's an ether tablet check. That's where it is. I was like, what brings them up here? You could also do Spike Cave on the way out, but Zimnala still doesn't have that fire rod. to actually do a complete Turtle Rock play up here on the mountain, or the mitts which are in Mire.
And they might be doing that. Yes, they are checking Spike Cave. So far, the Azur's just found a bee in a bottle. Sorry, a fairy in a bottle in Lower Norfair, so it's not getting any worth right now. And just super missiles and Spike Cave.
Yeah, given how much we already saw behind the various suit and where we are in the logic, I figured that Lower Norfair on the way out would be pretty empty and we'd have to chase the mitts.
And Cathedral only had 50 rupees. I think Azure might have checked that out, but I didn't see it.
Azure didn't do any upper Norfair, just straight in, and might have checked bottom right of Bubble Mountain, and that would be it, since nothing else was on the way to LN.
And now he's gonna check all his Bubble Mountain checks. He's gonna love what he sees there.
Yeah, as far as like when and where you get items in this combo rando and what's worth following, it's often the best idea to take like combinations of items you've found that give you sort of deeper access into the game and go that way, especially when it's late and you're looking for one more thing, rather than clear out what's been available for a while. Because the algorithm, the way it fills in the items, it's more linear most of the time than it is sort of flat and spread out.
Okay, I'm just trying to double check on Pierce's screen. Did he check Bubble Mountain? Because he doesn't have a lot of items checked off on his tracker.
So Prier already has the space jump, which means they've already been to desert, so they must have the book and so forth. Wait, oh, that wasn't space jump. Never mind, that was a screw attack animation. When Samus was spinning, I thought I saw space jump. Okay, so they actually skipped Bubble Mountain.
Yeah, because they were just there. I guess Prier's just going straight to, which I think made to Lower Norfair.
Yeah, today we're learning that basically these two routes are, well, they're not equivalently good. They both have value, but technically what Azure did is less backtracking and kind of did everything in lower, Mire, and upper in one loop. But certainly going upper first was a valid play. It was in logic and it had a lot of progression.
Prier forgetting that he needs to have space jump to get to the GT that way.
Womp womp. Yeah, that's hard coded into the game. Even though you don't need space jump for anything else in Super Metroid, strictly speaking, that lava will not lower if you don't have the item.
I wonder if Azur's just gonna go straight to Dark or Death Mountain, or if he's gonna go to Croc first.
Yeah, I like this. Chase the Mets to Dark Death Mountain. You've got 6 checks between Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny, and then you've got 5 in Turtle Rock and 1 in the thing in the middle, Mimic Cave.
But Azure still needs to go to Sahasrara and get that Ice Rod.
Oh, crud. Okay, that's funny and a little unfortunate for them that their routing took them away from Sahasrara for this long.
Yeah, he's the only runner on our restream that has not checked Eastern Palace area whatsoever.
What would be nice here is a quick bow, something in Hookshot Cave, for example, that says, okay, go back that way, finish up Pod Eastern, and then come back here. A full run through Turtle Rock looking for Bo on like Laser Bridge and then not finding it would be kind of a waste of time.
Yeah, especially if Bo's actually on Trinex. That would be hilarious and bad for Asder.
Indeed. And Bo can still be in Ice Palace, and to Chat's delight, Bo can be on the pedestal.
And of our runners, only Asder and Simnala have actually checked Bubble Mountain, so they're the only ones that have a book to check the pedestal.
Mind of Me points out that Shack Tool is in Logic, and so Bo can also be on Shack Tool. Luna Rosarian in chat is asking why Azure doesn't just finish Super Metroid. It's not really the best play from a routing perspective because there are no items left to acquire if you go do the end of Super Metroid. Whereas as long as you continue checking items on your way towards Go mode, and even in Ganon's Tower in Link to the Past, you have a chance to come across things like beam upgrades that make the end game in Super Metroid faster.
So Zimnala just took down our Ghost Elephant. Chromo Tyler only had 5 aerial capacity. Prier, I'm trying to figure out what he's setting up for. Is he setting up for Croc or is he setting up for something else? Maybe Lower Warfare.
Prier might not be confident about their green gate glitch ability, and without space jump, that's their way to Meyer and Golden Teresa.
Makes sense. Let's see. Map in the first chest of Turtle Rock. He's gonna check east side.
Yeah, unless Bo pops up pretty early here, Ashter's going to be sacrificing a little bit of their lead with this Turtle Rock play.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a double dip regardless, right? Because you just can't finish it right now without Ice Rock.
Well, if he checked Eastern beforehand, I mean, or rather Sahasra's closet beforehand, it wouldn't be a double dip.
Recently, I believe it was Solski's stream I was watching where he told me that the most items per minute in the early game in Link to the Past is actually to go to Sasha's closet. Like of just all the different ways you can route and do one-off checks, it's actually like the best in the early game.
Very nice gravity jump on Prier's side. He's gonna go into the mire. He's gonna not really admire that mids location. Sorry, glove location.
But yeah, as pointed out at the very beginning of the stream, there are a lot of people in this race. I can check the exact count for you, but we've got some really great runners off stream as well. The aforementioned Solski is playing, Ozzy 101, who's in the finals of the Combo Rando tournament, Cross Product, Frekinus, just a lot of great names.
I believe I saw Zost in there, Fuzda, and I can't think of anybody else. Also, Lenolf not happy about the gravity being in front of vanilla location because he's thinking, oh crap, he could be on Shack Tool. Something could be on Shack Tool.
Yeah, as chat points out, this does conflict with at least the first half of the Super Bowl in the National Football League in United States football, and so a lot of people who are sports fans and video game fans would probably opt into the sports today over a race.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm not much of a sports fan, so I can't really say anything.
I used to be a bigger fan, but I don't know, lost interest over time, and and now I'm into speedrunning, so that's where my priorities are at today.
Agreed, same thing. Then again, I wasn't really a big American football fan, to be quite honest. And Prier's making the same mistake that Azure is about to just made. He's not happy about it.
Little do they know that they're so close to both of their first gloves.
And little do they know that they skipped out on the other glove at Bubble Mountain. So there's nothing been at in TR so far. Nothing like it particularly interesting. I know we're just looking for the bow, but of course Aster's looking for Ice Rod, which we know is in Sahasra's closet. Is he gonna go? Hopefully, if he doesn't see, if we don't see the bow here, would he go to Ice Palace?
It's a tough call between Ice Palace, which has 3 items, and Smith Sequence plus Hammer Pegs area is 3. The latter is a little bit faster, but dungeons again are more likely to have progression in the overworld.
We also have the mushroom and the. Oh, we got a blue king. That's nice, I guess. Oh, there's our D. There's the bow.
Well then, okay, that's a once this last treasure chest is checked, that's a quick mirror out pod Eastern Ice Rod back to TR. So Azure is go mode -1. We are in full no mode for this race as spectators.
Yeah, he just needs to go um to Eastern first, to Sahasra's closet first. I see this. Oh, he's doing a save and quit. All right, he didn't activate his flute yet.
Yeah, and at this point, it's so late in the game with Meyer already done. It might not even. Nope, never mind. Azure is in fact going to activate the flute. It must have a couple uses remaining in order to be worth.
Oh, he's gonna check the Flankshore Bonk Rocks first as well, since he just got the boots.
Convenient heart piece, giving them a full health refill. But yeah, this should be a flute activation into flute to location 5 and do Palace of Darkness and Eastern Palace in one go with a Sahasrara and Green Pendant turn in. So lots of shots for Azure in their mind to find that Ice Rod.
No, I was wrong about the Flankshore part. He didn't check King's Tomb. But, semantics, that's not where he needs to go.
Indeed. Yeah, at this point in the race, when you're go mode -1, you're going to favor required places like Crystal Dungeons, as well as, oh, and of course, they're going to do Skull Woods. I forgot they hadn't been there yet. And check density rather than like something like King's Tomb, which is going to require you to backtrack out of the way.
He's probably going to check Pedestal as well, just in case, but we know it's going to be nothing, because we got a dead still today.
Chad is saluting the loosening of the goose, but not very much because Azure's music isn't playing on the stream, so we didn't get to hear the Link to the Past national anthem just yet.
Not unless somebody wants to whistle, but we're not allowed, so yeah.
Yeah, I can't whistle to save my life.
No, the last time I played an instrument here was a kazoo. It really sucked.
Oh, thank you to Khalees in chat for donating 20 bits in Salutations of the Goose. Big Doggle 49, or is it Big Doggy? Sorry, it's a hard to read name in chat. The spring tournament is not scheduled yet. We're still finishing up the winter tournament.
Actually, it's already been announced that we're not going to have a spring tournament for the Link to the Past.
Oh, that's just solo Link to the Past though?
Yeah, I think it's the main turn. There won't be a main tournament for Link to the Past for spring. So actually, from what Mind Me is telling us, there's gonna be no major tournaments until after SGDQ, which kind of makes
Oh,
sense.
interesting. I mean, there were a lot of tournaments in the fall leading up to AGDQ, so.
The thing is, for a Link to the Past side of things, they've been running tournaments since spring 2017. So I think the committee just wants to take a break. But if somebody wants to do like a minor tournament, like an entrance rando tournament or whatever, somebody's welcome to organize. But the main SG crew is deciding to take a break from LTTPR.
Gotcha. Well, I unfortunately got my stream going and my skills refined a little bit too late to join the winter SMZ3 combo tournament. So I'm disappointed that there won't be one coming soon for me to partake in.
And as I said, the Azure checked the pedestal. We know it's gonna be dead, but what was it? Oh, it's just a super missile pack. Never mind.
All right, so on their way into pod going through the maze, the outside maze, they will mirror into Sash for those 4 checks and be in go mode in just about a minute.
Yeah, it's a good thing he fluted to Eastern area, because I was worried. I was so worried that he was gonna do the Smith's check.
Oh, gonna save the mirror into Sash for afterwards, unless they forgot the location. TBD on that, but it's surprising to pass it up. Already went to pod though, knows that they just have to go to the back, so probably gonna finish this up quickly.
And to answer questions, chat, more. Yes, it is pedestal, but if there's nothing there, I call it a dead istal.
We got simultaneous Meyer plays here from Lenofis and Prier. They're going to get their second glove upgrades. Or, sorry, first. Everyone did the same thing except for Zimnala as far as their routing to lower and upper Norfair.
Zimnala's probably just going to keep lower Norfair till last, and that's why they're doing Meridia right now.
Indeed. Nice swag dash there from Asger using a hammer item dash. Ooh, and we'll need maybe the volume adjusted slightly, but we've got a switch to Asger's volume as they are the closest runner to go mode and a pretty substantial lead.
Yeah, my ears just kind of burst there.
Yeah, kind of what facing IRL. Thank you to our stream setup people, by the way. No matter if there are slight blips like that, they're doing a lot of work for us.
Yes, there is a lot of staff behind the scenes, not just Fiesel, our main guy from the main man of Speed Gaming, but there are a lot of setup helpers, commentary helpers, like myself and Cheesinator, our trackers, like our trackers, Andrew, Jay, H28, and Mind of Me. But yeah, there's a lot more people behind us.
Yeah, and Miss Metroid every week is always putting out the calls for commentators and trackers and does a lot of it herself. So shout out to her too. And yeah, as pointed out in chat, all of this is volunteer work.
Yeah, we all do this for the funsies.
Sleepy Night in chat asks about that hammer and sword charge. So in the Japanese 1.0 version of Link to the Past that this ROM is based on, there are a couple of minor glitches that are kept for the sake of speedrunning. One of those is item dashing, where once you have the Pegasus boots, you can hold out your sword and a usable item at the same time, and you'll sort of use it while you dash. This has some practical uses, such as hammer dashing for the hammer pegs, or using a blue cane of dash through the roller room in Turtle Rock, just for two examples. You know what I was just thinking? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just trying to think of the answer in chat. Why do they do it on the turtle guy? Which turtle guy are you talking about? Are you talking about in pod?
I had referenced a thing in Turtle Rock. It's just one of the many uses of item dashes where when you're in the first roller room and the fire rod side on the right, you can use hookshot, you can use a lot of different stuffs, but you can like, sorry, no, they're talking about the Helmasaur fight. Okay, yeah, against Helmasaur, you get less knockback if you use your sword and hammer together to hit the mask off than you do if you just whop Helmasaur with the hammer.
Also, having your sword out makes it easier to aim the hammer, so since you'll just be pointing towards one way. And Zimnala's giving us our shack tool check.
Oh, nice. So maybe Shack Tool has plasma. At this point, that is the only thing of value.
And I think it's only shack tool and X-ray we haven't seen yet. Because nobody had a space jump or grapple beam to get through X-ray.
Indeed. Nice job, Sleepy Night. They just got a Buffalo controller, which is one of the many USB retro controllers available to play these games on PC. That's the same one I have. Great starter controller, and good luck learning how to run these games.
I hope it's a little more comfortable than the PS2 controller, because that's what I'd be using if I ever speed run on the PC. Because I hear there's a big difference between the PS2, PS3, and PS4 controller compared to the SNES. Blink and miss, we have 6 Armos down, and we got Azergots' 6 Crystal.
Good job on those simultaneous crystals. I just put the link in chat. Bang SMZ3 gives you all the links to the current tournaments as well as how to get started running these games.
Also, Shack 2 only had a power bomb pack. Looks like Asder's taking a look in the back of, in the big chest of, what's your thingy? Big chest of pod. I hope he doesn't save and quit and remembers to go to Sahasrara.
Yeah, this routing troubles me. So when Asder first skipped, by not mirroring into Sash, I was like, okay, well, maybe they forgot or something. But then I was thinking, well, if they do pod and then Eastern second, then when they're leaving Eastern, maybe it's just faster to like jump down the ledges to get into Sash. We'll see. Please, please, please. Okay, they're going. They're going.
to answer questions in chat. Yes, the Xbox 360 controller is complete trash. Well, not complete, just the D-pad.
All right, here it is. Get ready, chat.
So in 2 hours and 24 minutes and 38 seconds, Ashder is in go mode.
Excellent. And this is a pretty good go mode time. So at this time, with only Turtle Rock boss fight remaining, which easily routes into Ganon's Tower, Ashter could be looking at something like a sub 250 for sure. Probably like a 245, 46-ish, depending on the big key location in Ganon's Tower.
I also apologize to any headphone users if I was a little too loud in my go mode announcement. I tried to lower the volume before I called it.
Yeah, on the topic about the controllers, the only USB gamepad I had prior to buying that Buffalo was an Xbox 360 controller, and I briefly tried to play these games, and I was so frustrated by the D-pad and its movement in Super Metroid. I couldn't do mock balls, I couldn't do anything, so I just went on Amazon and bought a controller and rush shipped it because I was so excited to play the game, and the 360 controller was so bad for it.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried about the. I mean, the PS2, the PlayStation controllers are very nice. They're very precise, but they are kind of stiff. So, and they do hurt for fighting games. So, it's just not. It doesn't have as much, I guess, space to it compared to the SNES, the controller. SNES, the D-pad has been used from the NES to the N64. We don't talk about the GameCube's D-pad, guys.
Oh goodness! Oh no, the GameCube D-pad. Remember when they tried to put fighting games that weren't Super Smash Brothers on the GameCube?
Yeah, that's pretty much the reason why I absolutely hate the GameCube controller. It just never gelled with me. Like I don't even play Smash with the GameCube controller. That's how much I hate it.
Oh, interesting. I love the controller, just not for certain genres, like fighting games, obviously, and then first-person shooters. It's got pretty poor dual analog sticks, so yeah. But the other buttons feel great. They're like really ergonomic. It's easy to press, like the triggers and stuff. Those feel great.
I don't know. I've never really been a fan of those triggers at all. The shoulder triggers I've never really been a fan of. The button placement. Maybe it's just because I'm so used to the original SNES, that SNES layout that has been used forever. And then the Nintendo decides to change it up with the GameCube. I'm like, okay, this doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, that was a design decision. I want to say heavily influenced by Miyamoto, but it might have been another designer at Nintendo just focusing on the large A button and saying, hey, most of our games are only going to have like one or two primary action buttons. Let's just make it really easy and intuitive for people to know which button is their action in GameCube games, and that did end up panning out that way. But we're way off topic now, so maybe we should get back to the combo rando, like how Lenifus is fighting Ridley, and Esther's about to fight Trinox, and Prier's fighting Ridley.
And Zimnala just took down our favorite shrimp boss. Though I think they went electrified, but I didn't remember. And there you go, Asder has all of our crystals down. I think we have to play a game, but we're not going to do the official one, because this is just a community raid.
That's right, it's time for the big key guessing game. So before Ashter checks the first chest in Ganon's Tower, make sure to get your 1 to 22s in chat.
I'm a troll, so I usually pick Tile Room. Also a phone for me. I apologize.
Yeah, but do you guess 22 for tile room? Do you guess 3? Do you guess 7? It's like kind of hard to know when they'll do it.
I usually tile room's the last one, so I always pick 22 because I'm a troll. What do you usually pick?
Well, I pick 11 because that's the day of my birthday, which I won't tell you the rest of the numbers for because sensitive information. Um, and I don't know. It's rarely. I think it only happens about once in every 22 randomizer runs.
I remember for last year's spring tournament, I got a pretty high amount of wins with the number 22. So yeah.
Sleepy Night in chat. I'm sorry, I don't know how to answer your question. But maybe someone else in chat can help you.
I might be able to, but basically it's like a frame, perfectly like a one frame button press after where you're holding spin speed and you have to press the dash button at the same time, something like that. Or you can do the same thing with the dash button and the hook shot. You can get the spin speed that way. It has to be like frame perfect. I don't know the complete mechanics, but that's the gist. You have to press them both at the same time on the stairs, and you can get your spin speed. Also, we got 1 to 7 down, and Asder is deciding to do the modified Dark Magician strat. Interesting.
Yeah, this is something that becomes a good idea based on how many keys you get in the Stalfos room. And this is, I've been told, the fastest average time to the big key of all the routes through Ganon's Tower. The reason we don't see it as often is because it can isolate certain locations like the fire bar room, and it does depend on the keys that you get and so forth.
So the first 11 was nothing so far.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a troll there, but Asger needs to make sure to pick up that key on the way through. Depending on the key distribution in GT, if you don't grab that one after going right side, you could climb up and find out that you don't have enough keys.
Also, thank you, Minded Me, for correcting me on a few things, because, yeah, I was figuring it was a one frame window. You had to, with the spin and the dash button, but I just couldn't remember. Also, if you're wondering why I said modified Dark Magician, in the spring 2017 tournament, there was a runner named Dark Magician. Insert random number here because I can't remember what number it was. He always did left. Apologies to chat for that little hiccup, and we just got the big key after I did that reset. How many was that? That was number 14, I believe. Yes, there was a bit of lag.
So I wanted to point out Asger was so quick with that go mode, getting the ice rod in Sash's closet, that they didn't even check the left or right chests. And they don't need anything else, but it could have been like Butter Sword or Plasma that would have netted time beyond just making those like split-second checks. And from this point onward, given that I don't think we see Asger check anything else besides maybe the validation chest. And I guess with Magic Powder, the one prior to Moldorm 2 is pretty quick as well.
So just to mention, in terms of our debate game, because that was number 14, our closest winners were with the guests of number 13 were Slaybot66 and one of our trackers, Andrew J828. Congratulations! I don't know what to give you as a surprise. Would you accept the validation arrow?
How about a single green rupee?
Also, to answer a question in
Go
chat,
ahead.
Fire Rod was Wavegate Glitch Room in pink print.
Yeah, unfortunately, Zanmala isolated that and hasn't been back despite making a trip in that general direction towards Billy Mays and such in Brinstar. So Zanella might be hunting for the Fire Rod for quite some time. They also don't have Bombos. I would need to confirm after seeing a menu, but without Bombos, it could mean they don't bother going to Ice Palace and so do end up getting slightly sooner back to Brinstar.
To answer a question in chat, Sleepy Night, we run 2 races per week for the combo rando on Sundays and Mondays. We alternate each week between normal and hard for each day. So, like today's gonna be normal, tomorrow's gonna be hard, then next Sunday it'll be hard mode, and then Monday will be normal mode, and so on and so forth. And to clarify about what we mean by hard mode and normal mode, that's only about the Super Metroid logic, where some higher level skills may be required, but it does not affect the Legend of Zelda logic.
So while we've been chatting, Azure has just been racing up Ganon's tower really fast. Great execution on their part, and finds a heart container in the anti-fairy room here.
Takes down Moldorm very quickly. Checks the last chest of the game. Only power bombs might be useful. Oh, Sleepy Night. The co-op turn we had just between summer and fall for the combo randomizer, with the finalists decide after the tournament that they'll have a hard mode logic seed, which require them to go to Shack Tool without gravity, space, or anything else like that, and it was a doozy. In fact, one of the runners in one team had to tell all other runners in the race, including his teammates, to how to get to the Shack Tool without those things, and that was just funny.
I'm loving the music that Azure is creating with those sword slashes. Yeah, in this run, I know I've been very complimentary of Astro throughout, but really, other than missing out on Ice Rod for slightly longer because of kind of skipping on Sash, they had a really, really great route through this game. We haven't had any runners finish yet, and of course, there's still Ganon Fight and Torian to go, but Astro's got a pretty good shot at first place.
I think we had a forfeit. Yeah, Zost did forfeit earlier, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Zost forfeited. Didn't leave a comment in IRC or anything. Might have had a conflict or another reason to quit.
Or, Super Bowl time, has to prep.
The only other reason I could think of for a forfeit around that time would have been like last location Aga to following the speed booster to all the garbage in SM and then last locationing Morph Ball and Pod or something like that and just feeling super behind.
Yeah, this seed has been very interesting to say the least.
Get your single G's in chat for Ashdar, who's completed one half of the game, which is why we give one instead of both of the G's. Meanwhile, Zanala prepares to take on Vitreous, everyone's favorite pile of eyeballs.
Yeah, deciding to use cape and slashes.
So, a fun thing I like to estimate is based on a runner's loadout and skill level and all that. Like, how fast will they get through Torian, like from this point, and what will their finish time be? And Ashter won't do stand up without plasma, but does have the gear for baby skip and for Zeb skip. So, probably looking at a 248x, maybe like low 248 or high 247.
Yeah, I just can't remember if it was has Azure ever done the baby skip? I don't remember right now.
I mean, I would have to assume so. They're so proficient in all of their other Super Metroid tricks, and they run a lot of the like super challenge mode hacks of Super Metroid as well.
Oh yeah, there is that. Not to mention, he always decides to do hard. He has a tendency to do hard mode logic, even though it's a normal the logic seed.
To answer Sleepy Night, there are two different baby skips. The normal one that was discovered a couple of years ago that pretty much every high tier SM runner does is just you spin jump around and around. You go back behind the baby repeatedly until you can shoot out the blocks, hopefully with a wave beam, and then midair morph to get out at the end. Whereas the one I referred to in chat earlier with like the really hard spring ball tech is more new and not as many runners are familiar with it.
So for the first version, you ideally would want to have high jump boots because it doesn't really save any time if you don't have it. As for the second version, the spring ball version is really only 100% and 100% and rando specific because any percent you would never have spring ball.
Leno's checking the pedestal. I guess they thought this was better than going to Turtle Rock. And nice baby skip for Ashdir.
I was kind of curious about the setup because it looked like he was trying to damage himself down to normal levels, but nope.
I think that's just a backup strat.
They're also going for the ice Zepatite skip instead of the speed booster one, which is a little harder.
Alright, so 58 super missiles and 6 missiles is probably the preferred way to finish here for Asder as far as DPS goes.
I wonder if he's gonna try and end with the meme missile counts for Mother Brain. At least for 100% anyway. Oh, and the Novice is gonna do the Smith's Chain. I don't blame him, but we know it's not the play. But Priya is gonna go to Turtle Rock instead.
Nice. ETAP in chat is pointing out that a sub 3 on this seed is a really good time, and it really all goes back to Azure saying, hey, I know this logic, and I know that Aga is really likely, and got paid off, and followed through to find that morph ball in pot. Is this a stand up? It is. Okay, so without Plasma Beam, Azure is going to go Charge Ice Wave, no Spacer, no Plasma, and get some extra damage in on Mother Brain. It'll only add up to like a couple of Hyper Beam shots, but it's still a time save.
It's just a little too minuscule that it's not that most runners wouldn't go for it.
Yeah, you have to be really confident that you're not going to soft lock or hard lock on this next section. Some of the possible soft locks are, depending on your position in the room, the baby can go into a space where Mother Brain can't kill it. You can also hard lock if you shoot a charged shot like as your beam is transitioning to hyper beam. And there's another soft lock I'm forgetting regarding like when the baby is dying, something.
I've only heard of the overshooting the charge beam shots soft lock, so I haven't heard of it. So this is the first time I've heard of other ones.
All right, let's try and count how many hyper beam shots it takes. Okay, so that was actually a decent save. That was, I think, 28 or 29 shots connected there out of the normal 40, so Azure still got some value out of doing stand-up without Plasma.
So the next question, though we know what the obvious answer is, save or kill the animals. Honestly, I would like to see him save the animals, but of course we know he's gonna kill.
Indeed. Oh, swag, swag, swag. No, Azure missed it. I don't think that'll cost them the 247, though.
Dang, he almost could have, maybe could have shine sparked up to the top of that next room, but oh well.
Now, will Azure go for the Behemoth Shine Spark here, or just the regular bonk against the wall? Just the regular kind.
Yes.
The Behemoth is when you stop just short of the middle of the room, and then you do a diagonal upright charge, which saves a couple of frames.
Yeah, I saw somebody bonk improperly with the Behemoth Spark, and that wasn't very good. And Azure is our first one to win in our stream. Let's see what time it is on SLRL.
Yeah, get your GGs in chat for Azure. That was an excellent run. First place out of a really strong field.
With a time of 2:47:51.
I think some of the other runners are going to have a fun time watching back on this VOD and seeing just how Azure did it so fast with some of that decision making.
Speaking of Azure, GG's, my good sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, GG. That was really impressive.
That was one of my best Turians ever. I think the only bad thing is I missed a Blue Bomber in the escape. Also, that go mode is really weird, and I knew as soon as I found it that most other people probably had Ice Rod the whole game.
Yeah, Sesh, I almost never see skipped in the early game, but it didn't hurt your go mode time too much. You checked a couple more things, like Pedestal, I think?
Pedestal, let's see, yeah, Pedestal,
Oh,
Pod Big Chest, and Double Tipping T-Rock. Double Tipping T-Rock is the big thing, but I saved an Eastern double dip that I'm sure most other people did, so it wasn't as bad.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good choice, especially when Eastern is a crystal.
I didn't actually. I didn't do a light world map check until like after I. I don't think I did a light world map check until I finished Fantune and Kraid. But yeah, no, it was just kind of screaming Aghanim to me. And then as soon as I found the flippers in Dark Cross, that put the cape and like everything I found in Zora, that put it in logic. And I was like, okay, this is probably Aga.
Yeah,
I've been
absolutely.
trolled in Aga a
Love that
lot
call.
lately, so it could very well not have been. But combo, I think, is more volatile with that.
Yeah, I mean, it was somewhat of a gamble, but it was just a really good read on the logic, and it got you a huge advantage ahead. You were well in front of our other runners on stream as far as getting into the Dark World, and then into Pod, Morph Ball, Super Metroid. Just you were ahead the whole time.
Dude, Morph Ball and Incompletable Pod is a classic. I've seen it a lot lately.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Morph Balls in Pod lately too.
It's always in that spot too, I swear. Top of Dark Maze.
Yep. And as I was pointing out to the chat, of course, you know that the logic stacks Pod explicitly in this version, though that will be going away soon.
Yeah, I only heard that, last week. I guess everyone only heard that last week, but I was keeping it in mind a little bit, but it didn't really change too many of my decisions. Going T-Rock when I did, it was actually probably the most questionable thing. I'm not really sure why I did that. I had just come out of Dark World having gotten Flute and I think both gloves in the whole Norfair Meyer loop. And yeah, I probably should have just gone activated Flute and then done Skullheads, done Pod, etc.
Yeah, wait, sorry,
Oh no,
Bo
I couldn't
was
have done
on
Pod,
Laser
sorry.
Bridge. Yeah, Bo was on
Sorry,
Laser
I was looking
Bridge.
for
So
Bo.
if you
That's
basically
the
you would have
only...
had to have done Sash for your route to look better than that.
Yeah, but I mean, like once you get Flute, Sash is a pretty free check. It's 3 items, but I guess my thing was also that I delayed it so long that if it was something good, then no, like even if it was something good, I still would have wanted it then versus later. That was just not a great play.
Understood.
IMO, but
yeah, but hey, you did make a play towards a quantity of checks, given that Darky, Stuff Mountain, and Turtle Rock had something like 12 items between them. Yeah, we were complimentary of your route all stream. We saw you go with the Lava Dive into Lower Norfair and Meyer area, which totally paid off because you got to do just one clean pass through Norfair and get all those progressive items. We were commenting about the Book of Medora being our restricted desert mire, etc.
That
access.
was so weird. Okay, so when I did the gravity jump into Lower Norfair, I was like, okay, so the logical thing I'm missing here is space jump, right? So I figured space jump is available at one of the places I didn't check. So space jump is probably at Sahasrara or Eastern or something. So I'm thinking if I clear Norfair and I don't find everything I need, I'm gonna go check X-ray with do damage boosts to X-ray because I'm pretty sure the game thinks I have space jump right now. And then I saw space jump on Desert Ledge and I was just like, excuse me?
Yeah,
and
a
the
lot of the
Flute
runners,
in Meyer. And First Glove.
What I was gonna say, because of the Aghanim requirement, people will last location Aghanim and check everything possible before resigning their fate and saying I'm going. So people were down to Agina, Desert Ledge, and we saw this space jump pretty early and had to think, oh well, that's gonna make our Meyer access pretty restrictive, and it turned out to be very restrictive.
Wow. I had a very, very different set of knowledge and a very different experience with the seat than I think most people did.
Yep, I think the only item, major progressive item that you weren't first to, kind of in the mid game, was Varia, just because one runner did opt into Swamp before you.
What? Are you kidding me? That's my thing.
It was a really good play, right? 7 items and fully on logic. But they didn't have the gravity suit or the fire rod yet. In fact, still doesn't. That's Zanal who's on stream right now, was first to Varia.
Okay, I see. Yeah, I usually like to go swamp when I've done a reasonable amount of other things and I haven't turned up and I'm still missing a glove. I find that if I'm, kind of at the halftime point in the seed and I don't have a glove, it's usually in swamp.
So I don't remember exactly. Was there a medallion in Meridia?
Bombos might have been there.
Oh, okay. And
I don't remember.
Bombos wasn't required. So Meridia was like go mode material, and yet because of how early Gravity Suit came along, like everyone went through it in full clear.
Yeah, that was annoying. You know what else? So I did the plasma check thinking that it might be something because I knew Screw Attack was on Lycalia Island, and once I'd gotten Mirror, I figured, that's in logic, the game might want me to have it, so that means Plasma Beam item is in logic. So, I think in a lot of other situations I would have skipped the plasma check, but I went for it this time because Screw Attack was kind of pointing to it, even though I didn't have it.
What I was going to ask is, when you first routed to back of Meridia Portal, I think it was, you passed by Screw Attack, which you could have just swum up to and mirrored to. Was that not worth the time for you?
Back of Meridia, I don't think I
did
ever
you not
passed.
go that way?
I didn't. No, I never went that way. I went through the front of Meridia.
Oh, that's right.
I must be thinking of another way. Items. But that is something I frequently forget. Like if I am going to backdoor Meridia and the item on Floating Island is good, I pretty much always forget to pick it up.
Actually, it was more along the lines when you finished Meridia, you went out the back door and you could have gotten the Screw Attack, but you went to the hobo.
Well, I could have, but yeah. So, I was never intending to pick up Screw Attack because I don't need it for anything. But yeah, no, I was kind of thinking of it as I was coming up backdoor Meridia, but no, I just decided.
At that point, right? So I was thinking, like, given your skill set and what you've done on stream before, you might be thinking about, you had 9 E-Tanks, I think, by that point, and a lot of mobility items, so you might have been thinking, like, Variolous Lower Norfair and Screw Attack could help with that.
Right, but I wasn't anywhere near ready to commit to it, given what I still had on the table. And, like, if I had both gloves, I would have done it. But the fact that I didn't have either glove meant that there was still a lot that I needed to find, and these gloves, like, it's much more, it's pretty limited where the gloves can be. As you get really late into the seed, you gotta find them eventually. They open up a lot. So if there was like a really, really bad location, like, one item left side swamp, I will almost always skip left side swamp, but there's one item. It's just that I didn't have very much left to do, so, and of course it was Varia, and I felt fine about, going all that way to pick it up. We still needed ether from the front of swamp anyway, so you had to go to swamp no matter what.
For sure.
And I was completely okay with looking in bad locations for Varia because we're still missing both gloves. So that'd be a lot of searching in Lower Norfair as well. So that would make skipping Varia quite a bit slower. If I'm only looking for like one item, or if I'm really, really stuck, I might do it. But I think I've done it so often that it's like it started to become expected in some situations where I'm really like, no, I really shouldn't do it then.
That makes sense. Thanks for walking us through your full thought process there. I wanted to call out to chat that Solski, off-stream runner, has finished in second place with an SRL time of 2 hours, 57 minutes, and 9 seconds. GG to Solski. They seem to feel bad about losing by 10 minutes to Ashter, however. Did you have any other thoughts you'd like to share with us while you're interviewing?
I don't think so. I felt like my execution is actually really hit or miss compared to where I wanted it to be. Like, it was really up and down, really inconsistent, but that happens to me when I play these seeds. If I spend a long time in Link to the Past for like the first 15 minutes, it takes a bit for me to warm up to SM, so I usually come out of the gate playing kind of poorly.
I know that feeling. Sometimes my first time, like, I'm trying to go up to locations by the ship, and I'm just like, I forgot how to play Super Metroid.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I think my movement in those situations is still what most people would consider good, so they probably wouldn't notice, but it's like, it's relative, and I notice it's not like as good as I could be. Like, if I was doing a speedrun attempt, it would be awful to try and beat a PB with things like that.
There was one, I was like super thrilled with one of the tricks you did, and now I'm kind of forgetting, but there was a Super Metroid point where you did something really sweet this run.
I'm guessing it was a speed booster trick.
Oh, it was a short charge. It was the short charge to go through the sponge bath.
Oh, right. That's not the best way to do that. You can, like, jump. You can get enough momentum to jump right out of the water, enough to do a wall jump with speed. But I'm really bad at that jump, and I hate having to reset the room for it. So I do a Shine Spark for it. If you get most of, like, your magic frame dash counter stuff in before you hit water, your spark will still go. Actually, I think. Let me think. I think you only need one magic frame to go off before you hit water, because the thing with water is that it slows down Samus's animation. So, like, let's say you start running, and a slope carries you into water. You could theoretically still get a Shrine Spark charge off of that. It'll still work in the water, but the thing is that Samus's animation is slowed down so much that it takes a lot longer to cycle through the 4 frames that she needs.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for explaining that.
So yeah, I like to do like a stutter 1 tap or a 2 tap for that to get that spark, but it's slower than doing the jump. I'm just bad at the jump, so I do the spark.
That makes sense. Yeah, I gotta learn the stuttering specifically. I can do the taps, but I don't yet know how to, like, stutter over shorter distances. I can't get the one in Meridian Main Street. Lenifus is in Go mode, by the way. Just got Bow and Turtle Rock, and while we've been interviewing Azure, Prier has been climbing up Ganon's tower.
Stuttering is like really counterintuitive when you're first starting, because like, the way to do an effective stutter is you're kind of anti-tapping the D-pad, so it's like most of what you're doing is holding the D-pad and only letting go of it for a couple frames each time. And you only have to do that once. You can do, like, a 1 stutter, and that'll help a fair bit.
And that also, not just for short charges, but that speeds up the Phantoon Doppler, which I have not... Like, I can do just the basic Doppler, but not the stutter Doppler for the 2-round.
I can't stutter Doppler either. It's really hard to... It's really hard for my brain to process that properly. The thing with stutter Doppler is, like, the timing for firing the missiles is still the same, but what the stutter does is it shortens the distance that you travel, so you have more room to fire missiles into Phantoon until you run into his face. That's really what it is.
Yes, and running into his face you did, as you finished that fight with 53 energy.
Oh, that fight was awful. That fight was... I was not very happy with it. I thought I was going to die, too. It was just sloppy, and didn't set up Dopplers very well. I had trouble because I had the stunted jump from Speed Booster, and I just wasn't timing the shots correctly.
No, makes sense. I was... before you were going into Wreck Ship, I was talking up your ability at the game. So I was like, oh, this is fine. Azure can do Fantune on one E-Tag Power Suit.
I mean, I can, but I have to play better than that. It's a good thing I had 5 because I took a lot of damage that fight.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us.
Yep. All right, GG's.
GG, and have a happy Sunday.
Yeah.
So while that interview was going on, the Novice actually made the pretty bad mistake of going to Ice Palace and full clearing that before going to Turtle Rock, and that's why he was rage slashing and why he used Quake on the bow chest in TR on the laser bridge. She was just so angry. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I wasn't looking too closely at Lenofis' screen, so I completely missed the contents of Ice Palace. Did it at least have something like Plasma Beam?
You know what? I wasn't really looking at Ice Palace either. I was just kind of shaking my head for him because I know that was the wrong play, but it just makes sense. You don't want to really go to Turtle Rock until you really need to, and it just kind of bit him. And it looks like Mind of Me just said it was just a mirror shield.
So, oh wait, Dark Horizon in chat says it has Plasma Beam. So that's a little bit of worth. You get back, like, what, 20 seconds or actually no, you get back more because Mother Brain is 20 charge shots with full beam, and then you get to do stand up as well. So it's more like a 40-second or something save on Mother Brain. It's something.
Does Lenolphus know how to do stand up?
Leno's really experienced at Super Metroid. I think it would be no problem.
Okay, I was just trying to I just couldn't remember.
Also, a shout out to the quality of Lenofis' internet today. It often freezes and cuts out, and Leno is like finishing and recording runs off stream because they just have really bad internet. The first race that I ever commentated for SRL had Leno's stream freezing and wrecked ship.
Oh yeah, no, there was one time where he was supposed to actually for the Hot Hataka Strizer, the very first game, he was supposed to be commentary, and I was supposed to be just tracking, but his internet just was not being kind to him at all. So I had to step into the booth with Zelnus.
Zanala is going through the Smith sequence, which this might be the first time anyone on stream did it. But this the Mist Fire Rod and Wavegate is really going to come back to bite them.
Actually, Lenolphus did the Smith's Chain as well, but it yielded nothing. So we got our trigonometry boss for Prior. I think he got a double with that. Hey, another double.
Looks like it could be a 3-rounder. Ooh, no, bad pattern plus some blue balls.
Bad pattern, also bad positioning.
Alright, so that was a 2-2-0-2, and Prior's on to Ganon. Yeah, sorry, chat, if I missed anything today. I'm running on very little sleep and a bunch of caffeine, so my attentiveness has been somewhat low. That's why I didn't run the race and I commentated instead.
So that was the Peg Cave item. It was just the X-ray scope.
Ooh, so if Zimnala full clears Ice Palace, which I don't wish on them at all, but if they do, they'll be able to microwave nothing because they've already beaten the microwavable bosses. Womp womp womp.
Indeed. Unless they, I don't know, did they do Croc? They could do Croc.
I think they went down to Croc.
Also, kind of interesting that Zanala decided to go to the left side dwarf to get the prize instead of the usual right side, but semantics.
Mind of me points out Zanala was actually first to Croc. That makes sense because Zanala was first to Varia.
Unfortunately, they are last to the Fire Rod, which is just their one thing that's been costing them.
Yeah, bit of a tragedy. Because, like, even though they missed it along with the charge and waterway locations in their first run through Brinstar, they came back much later after having Wave Beam from the high jump location and yet did not make that check, unfortunately.
Okay, get your single G's and chat for Prior, taking down the big pig. Also, if you guys didn't notice, he had a arrow. He shot an arrow. It looked like there was an arrow coming out of Link's nose.
Uh-oh. Simnala's doing Ice Palace.
It's understandable. They think that Ice Palace is Bombo's locked, but it isn't, unfortunately. Meanwhile, Lenolphis gets his last crystal, and he's gonna be going up to GT.
Does anyone in chat remember the key layout in TR? I want to say big key and then so forth was right side, and it was pretty Fire Rod locked.
Yeah, big key and there was a big key and small key in the Firelock side. There was a small key on the laser bridge. I think there was a small key in the compass room, but I could be wrong.
Okay, I just wanted to see if like maybe Zimnala went to TR Fire Rodless, hoping to find it in there, could stumble into Bow instead and still make some progress, but it's Fire Rod locked.
Yep, fully Fire Rod locked.
Oh, never mind. Sorry, forget that thought.
Do you think Prier will bother with the stand-up?
I think most people wouldn't do it when they don't have plasma, or at the most, like at the least full new beam. So probably not. It did save Azure a couple seconds, but
So let's see how Prier's baby skip goes, if he's gonna go for it. Actually, you know what? Does he have high jump?
Chat points out Leno is betting on Tile Room to make up some time after probably feeling pretty late to their go mode.
Wait, Prier doesn't have high jump? I guess, did he skip over it when after he beat Phantoon? Ooh, Leno got grabbed in by a wallmaster in the fire rod locked room.
I avoid right side because of that room primarily. Like I don't like how slow that room is for me. Just getting past all the Gibdos and stuff.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of prep to get it right, especially if you don't have the fire rod and you have to use the lamp version. Oh boy, that's not fun.
I've had some pretty embarrassingly bad. Oh god, that sucks for Leno. Some pretty embarrassingly bad late games in this combo rando recently. Um, by the way, prior not doing the Zeb skip is just firing supers into those. Has charge beams, so it doesn't really matter that their super count is draining a bit. But yeah, last night I was running this and I went to Ice Armos, missed a bunch of arrows, and had one arrow after finishing Ice Armos, and I was like, oh crud, how am I supposed to kill the mimics and go up GT? And I like freaked out because I had no idea where to buy or find arrows. I had to search online to look for arrow drops in GT.
Actually, there was a race. There was a race in the combo randomizer. I want to say it was still in the group stage where Zost had to dig outside GT to get arrows in. It was just hilarious.
Oh, digging, that's an interesting one. Yeah, the other option, so there you can flute to CAC and farm in the hut. You can also flute to like the Ice Palace area, I think, and buy an upgrade, like in the vanilla place where you get upgrades. Does that pond still work for upgrades?
Yeah, in the vanilla game you can do that. In the current LTTBR randomizer, they changed all the upgrades to do that. So yeah, the upgrade will fill up your quiver.
Yeah, so those were some of the ones recommended to me. I ended up finding a 5-arrow drop underneath the pot on right side before Ice Armos, but it's the one that you don't normally lift up, I think. It's the one you bonk off of. I might be wrong on that. But either way, I needed to redo the right side to get to those arrows. And then you get an extra arrow drop in Mimics 2, fortunately. Anyways, kind of off topic again, but we've got Leno looking for the big key, and Pryor is in the catch-up beam phase of... Uh-oh, what is that energy?
Oh.
How much do they have in reserve? Oh no!
Oh my god, I think he's
have in
screwed
reserve?
up. He's screwed up. He doesn't have enough in reserve. I don't think he has enough in reserve. No, he's done. He has to reset.
Did Pryor safety save? Probably not, right? With that much energy
No.
going in?
He didn't safety save.
That feels so terrible. Yeah, that's what, 8, 9 minutes? They're not like 7 minutes lost to come back to Mother Brain from Criteria. I on one of these community races on stream, I had probably the most embarrassing Mother Brain performance ever, at least for me. I was the last runner to be finishing on stream by far, so the commentators were nice enough to stay around and still call my race. And I got to Mother Brain at like 3:30, and then I died 3 times in a row trying to do stand-up but not understanding how to do it. And it was like 3:58 before I finished. The commentary team pieced out and cut my stream during the escape. I was so sad.
Yeah, it's kind of a bad feeling, but it's just practice for the future.
Yeah, you can bet I never messed it up again. I came back, and the next time I was restreamed, I got my stand-up glitch easy. Alright, Leno has big key.
And Zimnala is probably questioning where to go right now because I think they're lost.
Yeah, Zimna, I'm not sure what kind of tracking system they use, or if they rely on memory, or if they're just selectively isolating different things and last locationing them, but it looks like a fire rodless TR dip is probably coming up, and that won't get them very far.
Yeah, because they already checked the tablet, they already checked Spike Key, because, yeah, this feels like a TR dip.
Also, either Zanala started their timer late, or we're seeing them about 2 minutes in the past, because I just noticed it's 3:18 on that one and 3:20 on the others.
That's kind of weird.
By the way, our third place runner has finished, and IRC Cross Product has completed the game with a time of 3 hours, 21 minutes, and 19 seconds. Alright, everyone in chat, give your energy to Pryor, who's coming through Torian for the victory lap here after the unfortunate catch-up beams from Mother Brain.
Maybe Mother Brain didn't like Priyer's order and decided to overdo the catch-up.
Yeah, Mother Brain is like... Never mind, I was gonna say something funny, but I failed, so I'll just shut up.
So Zimnala is finally back in Super Metroid. I'm assuming an X-ray check first, but will they go to Pink Brin again? Oh wait, didn't they? Nope, they're going to Meridia.
This has got to be the Shaq tool play. I think they have space jump and it might not be on the tracker. I have to see them jump real quick. Yeah, that looks like space jump. Yep.
Okay, try number 2 for Prayer against the Mother Brain. It looks like Zimnala's gonna check Plasma Beam.
Not sure why Prier's going for the charge Ice Wave shots here with 58 supers in tow. Maybe they just aren't thinking about those, and that's why the first fight went so poorly because... Oh, never mind, they're using supers now.
I think they were just soft... Prier's just softening her up.
Oh, that makes sense, of course.
Because you get faster DPS with super missiles.
Uh-oh, wait a minute. They're missing some super step. Oh, it's fine, it's fine. They won't soft lock, I just had a short memory blip there.
And there you go. So Zimnala didn't like the plasma location, does the reset Zanala has every single E-tank in the game.
Alright, Zimnala's going back to Brinstar. This is it.
Or so we hope. Cross your fingers, everybody.
Oh no, Zimnala's going back to Link to the Past. They were so close. They must have forgotten about the Brinstar locations they left behind.
They must think they finished off all Pink Bryn, but that power bomb situation they had earlier, it really cost them.
Leno got through phase 1 and 2 quickly there, using hookshot strats on Ganon, is on phase 3, Buttersword making quick work of the pig, while Pryor's about to get Hyper Beam and use 40 shots to take down the most evil of all space pirates.
Also, I should mention that OC101 has finished in 4th place with a time of 3 hours, 24 minutes, and 31 seconds.
GG to Ozzy, and also good luck for Ozzy in their remaining finals matches versus Andy. I believe it's already 2-0, so might have to be a 3-game comeback to 5. And get your single G's in chat for Leno.
Meanwhile, Zanala is just looking at the map, just wondering, what am I forgetting? Flutes back to Death Mountain. You know, it's the wrong spot. We can't really send them any good vibes or anything.
Yeah, this is a tough spot to be in. I've had a few times where I was in the tank like this, and one of my earliest races for this I forfeited because I just missed Meyer Shed. I went through the area like as a super bunny, or as a regular bunny, I guess, and missed the shed, marked it off, and never came back, and it had all the progression.
Yeah, that happens a lot. It's just again, the nature of randomizer. Hello, cross product. Yes, plasmas found in Ice Palace. And Prayer decides not to save the animals, which we're not surprised. And Prier has finished with an official SRL time of 3 hours, 28 minutes, and 6 seconds. Get your GGs in chat.
GG! We've now switched audio to Leno, who is next up for completing the game.
We might see stand-up glitch on Leno's side since he did get plasma from Ice Palace. Yeah, Cross Asder made the early play for Aga 1, also made the early play to do Lord Norfair to Meyer, and got those items, the glove, the was there a flute? The whatever, all the stuff that was in Meyer, and just got everything pretty early. Okay, it looks like Leno's not going to do baby skip, or maybe he is. No, he got caught. Never mind. So Leno's about to start the Mother Brain fight. Zamnala's I don't know. And hello, Prayer. GG's on your race.
Thanks. Hello.
Welcome and GG.
Yeah. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no need to apologize. You ran pretty well.
Yeah, I think it went pretty well until that mother brain fight.
Hey, you know what? Worse has happened to me. I described it on stream after you died.
Yeah, I should have preserved some supers, but in fact, without spacer or plasma, even with charge, it takes a lot of hits to get to the final phase. So yeah, I took ketchup beam damage several times, and and
Yeah,
that's
I
it.
know how that goes. I was watching Maniacal run low percent ice recently, which is like 200 shots. Oh boy, he tried a lot of tries to get that one finally.
Yeah, it sure is a nightmare.
Leno has the fortunate misfortune of having done Ice Palace, which means he has the plasma beam. So he's on stream right now doing stand up and does have full beam combo.
Oh.
And unfortunately, Zamnala, because of power bomb issues in Pink Bryn, does not have the fire rod.
Setting aside the late game stuff, what did you think about the seed, the logical progression, and so forth?
I think I made an heavy tactical mistake trying to full clear Super Metroid, because I'm not good at it, and and I should have known that bow was in Turtle Rock. There are a few places it could be after full clearing Super Metroid. That thing having power gloves and mitts very late in the game. It was pretty weird because I found myself trying to lift blocks and and not being able to do so.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're not the only one. Azure did the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's pretty disturbing because that's not a thing you encounter very often in a LTTP randomizer. So when you're able to get to go to Checkerboard Cave, you are.
Yeah, you're required to have gloves by that point
yeah,
because you
exactly.
needed mitts to get there to begin with.
Yeah, that's it. So that's a situation you're not encountering very often. So I don't think the seed was bad. It was pretty great. I had fun with it, but I missed some execution skills. I died in Aga Tower. I died at Mother Brain fight.
Oh, you died in Aga. I think I remember seeing Leno die in Aga Tower. I didn't remember you dying there, but dang.
Yeah, it was a green mail, 5 hearts, I think.
And Fighter's Sword, yeah, tough times.
I'm pretty happy because I made that gamble before going back to Super Metroid, trying to get some. I don't think you could have reached many items because I think Speed Booster was on Pyramid.
That's right, yeah. Just to quickly interrupt, because Leno finished. Leno finished in 6th place with an official SRL time of 3 hours, 35 minutes, and 19 seconds. So GG, good work escaping Planet Zethus before it exploded.
GG.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome.
Ooh, that was a thing.
Yeah, we were just talking with Priya here about some of the execution and then where the route and the seed led you as far as the speed booster location and all that stuff. It was a really fun one to watch and commentate.
Ooh. Yeah, like the game, this is just one of those seeds where it loaded you up early, and then it was find what you need at the end. It was interesting.
Yeah, the only dungeon that could be skipped. Actually, no, Hera had nothing, but I think most people are going to spend the time to do that anyways. But the only long dungeon that you could skip was Ice Palace.
Yeah, that turned. I was banking on the logic meta. Be like, okay, pendant ice. It's got a few keys. It's probably got progression. It turns out it just only has plasma beam, so it was a worthless trip.
Yeah, I think it's not that pendant dungeons are always the play, just that dungeons in general and especially TR pod, because of their item quantity and the keys. But Ice Palace wasn't a bad play. It just was not the right one this time.
Yep.
Yeah, we kind of understood you didn't want to go up to TR without the bow, without figuring out where the bow was, but it was unfortunately the case that TR had the bow.
Yeah, I was just trying to play the odds. This was just one of those seeds where I felt like my routing overall was pretty good, up until having to find the last set of items. Meyer having the first glove, Norfair having Titansmiths. I dove lower Norfair before doing upper Norfair, which, hindsight, that's clearly a mistake because I knew there had to be some kind of progression in upper Norfair. I just wanted to get lower Norfair out of the way.
That makes sense. Yeah. Actually 3 out of the 4 people that we were watching, and I'm not sure how many off-stream runners, did lower into upper Norfair with Meyer in between, and that actually paid off, right? Because if you do that in sequence, you don't double dip any of it, and you still get all the logical progression without being blocked. So that's a good route.
Yeah, having space jump on the desert ledge, I'm thinking to myself, okay, chances of needing both gloves to get to that space jump are extremely high. And then I'm thinking, well, maybe the book is somewhere within reach too. It's really hard to say. It turns out 2 gloves. There's a glove and the book in Upper Norfair. So
Yeah,
you had to, logically speaking, you had to go to Speed Booster, pick up your book, dive desert to get to your space jump, and then use the space jump to get to Lower Norfair to get to the portal to get to your Titan Smiths.
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah.
So, like, on stream here, we have, of course, had more information than everyone else, but as soon as Azure saw the flute in Mire Shed, not having seen either glove yet, I was like, oh, wow, book is in Upper Norfair. And then, like, 3 minutes later or something, Zamnala, who was first to clear Upper Norfair, picked it up, and we were like, yeah.
Wait, flute was in Mire Shed? I never went into Mire Shed? Oh, man.
No, wait. It was down there, right? Yeah, because flute was locked behind all that stuff. And you have flute on your tracker.
Did I not pick it up? Did I pick it up and not see it?
You might not have.
You know.
Oh, your shovel might have hidden it. Also, you might not have never activated it.
Well, now I'm gonna have to go back and watch that because I don't remember picking up flute.
The tracker might have put it on, just kind of assuming everyone who routed through there got it. I can't remember at this point. But Azure confirms in chat that was where the flute was.
Okay. Wow. Well, all right. Now I feel like my routing was not really that good. If flute was down there, I could have had access to that a long time ago.
Yeah, I would have sped you up a bit, but still, like, overall, you played the seed pretty well. I would say that it was unfortunate to watch you sort of get down to the last available things in Sphere 1 before saying, okay, it's time to do Aga.
Yeah, that I was thinking I wanted to avoid Aga because Hammer was early. I'm like, okay, if I could still find a glove. And then I was going to do Catfish after that pod play. Then as I jumped into the lake, I'm like, wait, I don't have a glove. I can't get to Catfish. Catfish is useless. And at that moment, I thought to myself, after I had already saved and quit, like, I could have done East or Western Dark World. And that probably cost me a little bit of time. Because I could have gotten to, I don't remember, what was over there? Nothing major, but there were a few items in Western Dark World.
Western Dark World had, I think, a medallion. I think Quake was in, like, Thieves Town or Thieves Town area. What else was over there? Spring Ball was at Chest Game.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, and Charge Beam, is being pointed out, was in Cave 45. Welcome.
Hello.
How's it going? Sorry to hear about your forfeit.
Yeah, I guess I just got confused. I didn't know where either of the items I needed was.
Yeah, we were feeling, of course, sad for you on stream here because you didn't have those power bombs and Pink Brinstar, and then left those locations behind. And was it you marked it off on your tracker, or you're not using a tracker? What was the situation there?
Oh, did I forget about Wavegate Room? Oh no!
Yeah, you didn't do Wavegate. That had Fire Rod.
Oh no, I meant to do that one.
And then the bow was in Laser Bridge TR.
That's what it is. I just couldn't think of anywhere else I hadn't done. And I don't know.
Yeah, Forgotten Location stinks. You see runners do it occasionally, and it's just like they're in the tank, they're looking at their map, and it just sucks.
I didn't even need a power bomb for that. I just forgot to go in there.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, the power bomb distribution early on was garbage. There was just the one packs. I forget where it was early in Link to the Past, but it was bomb routing and power bomb routing early on was just bad.
Yeah, I think that was probably one reason why Azure did Wreck Ship immediately instead of Bryn Loop, was like starting with the 5 power bombs. But they would have to comment on that in chat. I'm not sure.
I thought they had like 2 Powerbomb backpacks by the time they went to Super Metroid.
Oh, not sure.
Maybe
Usually,
I'm
once you
wrong.
have 2, you're good for Bryn Loop because you can farm up at certain points and keep your comp pretty healthy.
I didn't find my second one until I went to Wreck Ship, and that was the one that's at the Chozo missile just before the Wreck Ship Reserve. I was getting nervous. Maybe that was my third. I don't remember, but yeah, that was.
No worries. So everyone on the stream here has either finished or forfeited. So we are getting close to our end of the stream, but it's been really fun having you all here and commentating, getting to watch you race and see the thrilling competition.
Yeah, this is going to be exciting to watch back. Thank you guys for commentating. Thank the trackers, the silent heroes of our streams.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, tracking today by Mind of Me and Andrew. There's an Andy who's not the Andy most people know who's also doing tracking for us.
It's Andrew J828.
Gotcha. So yeah, thank you to our trackers, and thank you to Mind of Me for doing stream setup at the beginning, and thank you to Miss Metroid for organizing us to get the staff together as always.
Thank you to my co-commentator Cheeseinator HS. Thank you for commentating with me.
Oh yeah, it was a pleasure. Thank you for joining me, Siryu.
You're very welcome.
I'm sure some people might still have plans to catch the second half of the Super Bowl. I'm going to try and hurry over to that. So I'm going to be peacing out. And I do hope you all join us for our race tomorrow night. We've got a 9 p.m. Eastern hard logic race. And then next week we'll do it all over again.
Yes, indeed. Have fun with the Super Bowl stuff. I won't be watching. No offense, guys. Anyway, just to go through what's left on the Speed Gaming schedule for tonight, we have, if you want to go to Speed Gaming 3, we have the open weekly for A Link to the Past Randomizer. It's still going on to about 8 p.m. At 8 p.m. on Speed Game Regular, it is the Super Mario Brothers 3 Randomizer. That's going to be fun. At 10 o'clock on Speed Gaming 2, they're going to have the Zelda 1 Randomizer weekly race, and it's going to be the Groundhog's Day race. Basically, every 45 minutes, the runners have to reset, and they lose all their progress. So, yeah. That's fun. I actually watched yesterday's. It's really fun. I would highly suggest that. Also at 10:30, we have another Super Mario Brothers 3 randomizer race. And let's see if there's anything overnight. And no, there isn't. So on behalf of everybody here, thanks for joining us. Please follow the runners. Please follow the commentators and trackers. Well, except me, I don't stream. Please follow Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 6. See you next mission, everybody.
Peace out.